This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Just over a week after he was traded from the Mavericks to the Lakers, Luka Doncic is ready to make his debut with his new team tonight when the Lakers host the Jazz, 10:30 Eastern for that one on ESPN. Doncic has been out for almost 7 weeks with a left calf strain. A great game for the Eagles Sunday night and great timing for Coach Nick Sirianni. The 2025 season is the last year of Sirianni's contract. Right now, he makes $7 million a year, and he's one of the lowest paid coaches in the NFL. ESPN's Mina Kimes.
He deserves a ton of credit. He's the head of the entire operation, and this is, he lost coaching talent over the years. He completely overhauled the staff after last year's meltdown. And clearly, the organization led by Sirianni made the right decisions.
Mina Kimes on Clinton and Friends. In spite of a loss to Florida, Auburn is still number 1 in the new men's basketball poll. Alabama moves up to number 2.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen. Coming up Tuesday, we'll continue to react to the Eagles' Super Bowl blowout victory. Plus, we'll discuss Luka's Lakers debut. It's on Sportsman 6 a.m. Eastern right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
That's right.
Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt.
Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Used to. And Mr. Toby Tom Plate. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Super Bowl 59 in the books. Former Tiger pitcher Will Hellmers next hour. John Stinchcomb, hour 3. Ton to do. Let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Well, New Orleans put on and showed out. Super Bowl 59. Great week in the city and a great Super Bowl Sunday. The Super Bowl, however, did not exactly live up to all the billing. The Chiefs going for a three-peat, a rematch of Super Bowl 57, and it was a dud of a football game. Philadelphia dominated from start to finish, 44-20, your final score. But the game in and of itself is only part of the story, and as it relates to us here, the bigger story, of course, is Kellen Moore. He guided this Eagles offense to a pretty incredible performance throughout these playoffs and punctuated with the win in Super Bowl 59, and now the waiting game begins. It was Nick Underhill of New Orleans Football that first reported Kellen Moore would, in fact, head back to Philadelphia with the Eagles before becoming the Saints head coach, which is expected. As Adam Schefter reported over the weekend, none of the potential snags seem to have arisen. There is no expectation of anything preventing this deal from being consummated, and Kellen Moore expected to be the Saints' next head coach. Didn't stop Nick Sirianni, however, on the podium there with Terry Bradshaw, thanks his coordinators, and hey, look, shoot, what did they say? Shoot or shoot? Well, Nick Sirianni, he shot his shot, as it were.
Kellen, let's run this. Let's run this shit back, Kellen. Let's run this back.
That, of course, referring to Kellen Moore, saying let's run it back for one more year. Can't blame the guy for trying, but Kellen Moore is, according to reports, going to have his salary either doubled or possibly tripled when he becomes the New Orleans Saints head coach. The one guy who could compensate is the Eagles owner, Jeffrey Lurie, because he's the guy that signs the paychecks and could say, hey, you want to keep Kellen Moore around? Okay, let's pay him a little more. Well, Jeffrey Lurie told it was Jory Epstein of Yahoo Sports after the game, quote, unfortunately, we're going to have to wish him the very best in New Orleans. Basically saying, I ain't paying that guy a head coach's salary to become the or to stay the offensive coordinator in Philadelphia. But what a huge boost Super Bowl 59 was to Kellen Moore's candidacy. I mean, remember when the Saints fired Dennis Allen 2 months ago, 3 months ago, 4 months ago? Golly, the NFL season is long. But anyway, Saints fired Dennis Allen. Yeah, wow. And the initial list of candidates, Kellen Moore wasn't even on it. We rattled it off. There was like 16 names. He wasn't on that list. And then, as it got pared down, it looked like Joe Brady was going to be the top candidate when Brady elected to stay in Buffalo and Kingsbury elected to stay in Washington. Kellen Moore had the amazing performance, his offense did, in the NFC Championship game where they hung 55 on Washington, and then boom, Saints interview him the next day, catapults to the top of the list, and it looks like this is, in fact, going to happen. So you go put up 55 in the NFC Championship game. It's a big shot in the arm to your candidacy. And then you go hang 40 in the Super Bowl. Now, it's fair to mention the defense did get a touchdown, and the Eagles did score 17 points off of turnovers, including the pick six by Cooper DeJean. So the offense scored 33, but 10 of those 33 came off of turnovers after short field. So really the offense scored 23. But it neither here nor there. Philadelphia dominated the game start to finish. You know, I am, with respect to Kellen Moore, very firmly in this place where I certainly think you could do better. And yeah, you could do worse, no doubt. Wasn't your top choice, but the thing that from the very beginning I wanted was young, offensive-minded coach, preferably from the McVay-Shanahan tree. So you check almost all those boxes here. Here's the problem if you start looking at the success in Philadelphia. Who would you prefer? Who would you prefer? Jalen Hurts or Derek Carr?
Jalen Hurts.
You think so, Paulie? What about you?
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah. Super Bowl winner. Young guy. Pretty talented. Who would you prefer? Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown or Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed?
Yeah, Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown.
Yeah, you would, you think? Paul, you too? Yeah.
Smith and Brown.
Sure. Who would you prefer? Saquon Barkley or Alvin Kamara?
Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, respect to AK. Love it. But yeah, let's be real.
Unfortunately,
it's for sure. Guy just ran for 2,000 yards. Pretty good. Who would you rather? The Eagles' offensive line? Well, let's just not bother. Why are we even going to pretend with that one? Why do we even need to have the exercise? Let's move on. Who would you rather? Dallas Goedert or some combination of Foster Moreau and Juwan Johnson?
You were going to go with Dallas Goedert.
Probably a Goedert. You think, Paulie, you too?
Yeah,
Goedert. Yeah. So the point is, if Kellen Moore can bring all those players with him, awesome. But the reality is he's going to become your head coach, and Derek Carr is likely your quarterback. Old Alvin Kamara is like your running back. Juwan Johnson's a free agent. He may not even be back. Who knows what Chris Olave's career holds with the concussion issue. Rashid Shaheed will be coming off an injury and your offensive line stinks. So, I mean, you know what you need? You want to turn it around quickly? You need Jaden Daniels. Because he showed he can take a 4-win team and bring him to the conference championship game. Bada bing, bada bang, bada boom. Got a Jaden Daniels laying around anywhere? Anybody? No? No matter what, if it's Kellen Moore, maybe he wakes up, decides he has a change of heart, wants to stay in Philly. I don't know. My anticipation is he's going to take this job. But coaching can only do so much. You got to have players. Your roster's got to get better, and the Saints roster has to get way better, and that's going to take time. It's going to take multiple drafts, free agency, getting your salary cap right because you're not close. Like, regardless what the front office may try to gaslight us into believing, the Saints are not close. I just spelled it out for you. You're not close to being competitive. So, if it is Kellen Moore, cool. Be patient with him and get him a roster where he can go win. Showed he can. Pretty impressive performance there in Super Bowl 59 for the Eagles offense. Eagles all the way around. All right, it's After Further Review. Show Open Every Day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light. Baseball at the Box starts Friday, y'all. You're going to be out at the Box. Make sure you got plenty of ice-cold Bud Light at the Box or wherever you might be enjoying LSU baseball all season long. Drink easy with the official beer of the LSU Tigers and the official beer of AFR. That's Bud Light. Make sure you get the Bud Light bottles as well. At the Bud Light aluminum bottles. You find the 16-ounce bottles with the LSU logos on them. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light all baseball season long. All right, it is After Further Review. We're glad you're with us. Our Monday shows are brought to you by Relief Windows. Back in studio after a really awesome week at Media Row there for Super Bowl 59, our first foray into that. And it was a hectic, mad dash for 5 days, but we really enjoyed it. So I'd love your feedback as well. We're kind of looking into, is that something we start to make a regular part of our annual content creation? Like, do we budget for and plan to do Super Bowl every year? It was really good. Hope you enjoyed it as well. So we love your feedback. Of course, you can always email us, tweet us, or text us in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. We're not going to break. We'll come back. We'll delve into some of the game from Super Bowl 59 as we continue, and a lot of the other stuff. We'll talk about Kendrick Lamar and halftime show. We'll talk about the best commercials and all that stuff. A little disappointing for the commercials, but the USA Today always puts out their ad meter, which ads registered the best for Super Bowl. So we'll talk about that. We should be getting some of the early TV numbers in as we move throughout the show today as well. So a ton to do, and glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Oh, y'all, can you believe it? Can you hardly believe it? Crawfish season, man. My goodness. Remember, all crawfish season, Rouse's will be boiling at their in-house boiling rooms. You'll be able to get them over at Rouse's, so file that away. My goodness, crawfish season is just about here. But still carnival, which means king cakes. And Friday is Valentine's Day, lest you have forgotten. Let me remind you that every single Rouse's location has an in-house florist. So, gents, you want to swing on by and get the lovely lady in your life a beautiful bouquet of flowers for Valentine's Day, you can always swing into any Rouse's location and choose from their amazing selection at their in-house florist there at any Rouse's locations. 70 Rouse's locations, from Lake Charles to Orange Beach and points in between. King cakes, flowers for Valentine's Day, or anything else you need, Rouse's. This feels like home.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Savor game day platters and snacks, plus drink specials at 1717 Kitchen and Cocktail. So come out for game day and let our team make you the MVP. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
It's over. The Philadelphia Eagles have won Super Bowl 59. They have beaten the Kansas City Chiefs 40-22. It's their second Super Bowl win in 7 years. What a game. What a season. What a team. The greatest Eagles team in modern history. Eagles fans, savor it and rejoice.
Everything comes with it, you know, and I've always found a thrill in any doubt and any questioning and any opinions. It's always been something that I've embraced, and I don't want it to change now. It's because of the results. So just running your race and playing with purpose. You know, this is what I'm called to do in this season of my life, and I'm gonna give it all I have. Try my best to leave no stone unturned.
The final call is heard on Eagles radio, and then that was, of course, Jalen Hurts, who won the Super Bowl MVP. What an interesting career arc for Jalen Hurts, who throughout his career has come close, but never quite got across the finish line. He did win a national championship at Alabama, but you remember he was replaced by Tua in that championship game. It was when Tua threw the overtime touchdown pass to beat Georgia in Atlanta. A year later, of course, Hurts came off the bench to help Alabama win the SEC championship game. And then he goes to Oklahoma. They get blasted by Joe Burrow and the LSU Tigers in the Peach Bowl, which was the national semifinal that year, as we all remember. Made it to a Super Bowl 2 years ago and lost to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. And finally, at the helm, got his team over the line, did so emphatically. And you can start to have all these big picture questions about Philadelphia and the Eagles and can they keep this team together and how it might look moving forward. There's always the challenge of getting back there and replicating success and not being complacent. The flip side of it is the Kansas City Chiefs, which they are this decade's dynasty. They've won three, went 3 Super Bowls in 5 years. Of course, or I guess they won 3 Super Bowls out of their 5 times going, I should say, in 7 years since Patrick Mahomes has been a starting quarterback. But this one was an emphatic beatdown, and the real question is about Kansas City, and I don't want to overreact to it. You could see this team was assembled differently. They leaned far more heavily on Steve Spagnuolo's defense than they did offensively. You still got Patrick Mahomes, but now you look at that offensive line that really got pushed around. Travis Kelce, who is 35 years old, is just not the same player he was even 3 years ago. So how much longer can this Chiefs dynasty last? I'm not going to bury him. This has got Patrick Mahomes, who's barely 30 years old, but it does have to go through an iteration of changing their roster. And I'll remind you, for as great as the Patriots were for as long as they were, remember there was a decade between Super Bowl wins, because after they won it in 2001, then 3 and 4. They didn't win another Super Bowl until 2014. It was 10 years between their Super Bowl wins. And it very much felt like their first dynasty kind of was it. I mean, they got back in 7-11, lost to the Giants, but didn't win it again until 2014. So the narrative around Brady and the Patriots had changed dramatically because at one point he was 3-2 in Super Bowls. kind of like Patrick Mahomes is right now. He's won 3 of them. He's lost 2 of them. So actually, through their first 5 Super Bowl appearances, Mahomes and Brady are what and what. But Brady and the Patriots continue to reinvent themselves with different players and wound up winning 3 more. And that's really going to be the challenge for Mahomes. How much longer does Andy Reid coach? Is he done? Does he coach another year? I don't know. I mean, Andy Reid's in his middle 60s. We saw Bill Belichick was let go in New England at 72 years old. I mean, does Reid want to continue coaching? Of course, if he wants to, he can and he will, and he'll go on. But that is one part of this, the fabric of this conversation that we don't know the answer to. Mahomes is there, but how different does it look if it's Mahomes but no Reid? We saw Tom Brady go and win one in Tampa Bay. So does that change the whole dynamic of the conversation as well? If Andy Reid's not there. So there's just a lot that factors into all these conversations, and it's just some of the interesting storylines that are going to be interwoven throughout the NFL and certainly next year and moving forward. Andy Reid, after the game, had this to say after the loss.
Listen, man, compliment to our fans and all the support that they've given us. Today was a rough day. We didn't really play well in any of the phases. Didn't coach good enough. They did a nice job. I'm proud of our guys, though, for the battle, the fight that they put in throughout the year, and all the games that they've played here over the last few years. So my hat goes off to the guys for that. And we'll learn from this. Like most games here, when you don't do very well, you learn from it as a coach, you learn from it as a player, and you move on.
And then Patrick Mahomes, of course, uncharacteristically turned the football over. I think that was probably the part of this game, the game itself, that maybe was the most surprising. Because while the game got away, remember, you're sitting there with about 3 minutes to go to half. It's 17-0. And one of the touchdowns that Philadelphia scored was a pick six. So really, the Philly offense had put up 10 points. They'd moved the ball, but they'd only put up 10 points. They got the pick six, so it's 17. But Kansas City has the ball before half. And remember, they're getting the ball to start the second half. So in my head, I'm going, all right, well, this is the game right here. If the Chiefs go and score and then get the opportunity to go back-to-back, now all of a sudden you're in a one-score game in the second half and it's game on. Instead, of course, Mahomes kind of got hip-checked, threw the ball errantly. It was intercepted by Zach Bond. Boom. Eagles are in the end zone. It's 24-0 going into break, and the game is over. And I understand we could say all the 28-3 jokes we want, but at 24-0 at half, the game was over. And clearly it was, as Kansas City only mustered 22 points. It wouldn't have mattered. So, but here was Mahomes after the game on those interceptions.
Threw 2 interceptions and they're in. I mean, I threw a pick six and I threw a pick that they returned to the 5-yard line and they scored immediately after. So when you give a team 14 points, especially a really good football team, a Super Bowl football team, then not a lot of good things happen. And so that's why I take ownership in this loss more than probably any loss in my entire career, because I put us in a bad spot.
For what it's worth, as we look ahead to next year, the Super Bowl odds for Super Bowl 60 are out. We actually got this post up over at louisianasports.net. I was working on this actually just before we came on the air. If you want to check it out, it's always free. Everything over at louisianasports.net is always free. But the odds for next year's Super Bowl are released. This is courtesy of Bet Online. And the Philadelphia Eagles are the betting favorite to win next year's Super Bowl at plus 550, followed by the Kansas City Chiefs at plus 600. Ravens, Bills, Lions, then Niners, Commanders, Bengals at plus 2,000. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just an unapologetic Joe Burrow homer, but the Bengals at plus 2,000 feels like great value. If you're going to take an early shot on a team, I mean, Burrow was the best quarterback in football this year. His team just went 9-8 and missed the playoffs. They dug themselves too deep a hole, couldn't get out of it. But that's a team I don't think anybody wanted to see in the postseason had they gotten there. But just a long shot early play on the Bengals. I don't know, plus 2,000 might be the best number you get on them. If you're wondering where the New Orleans Saints fall on this list, the New York Giants have the worst odds at plus 15,000. The Saints are at plus 10,000. So the Panthers, Browns, Colts, Saints, and Titans all at plus 10,000. The only team in the NFL with longer odds to win the Super Bowl next year than New Orleans is the New York Giants. So if you are anticipating anything, like any expectation whatsoever for next year's New Orleans Saints, you got to park it. Because I think realistically, we can all look at what that team next year is going to be. And it is not going to be very good, regardless of what type of magic Kellen Moore comes in and works. I mean, unless if you are able to pull what Washington did with Jaden Daniels and somehow find a transcendent player at quarterback that just sparks you and immediately turns things around, you're going to struggle next year, be it with Derek Carr or whatever direction you go at quarterback for 2025 before you reset your franchise, preferably or presumably here under Kellen Moore. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by First South Farm Credit, firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit because for more than 100 years, Louisianians that have wanted to buy land have called First South Farm Credit. You want to do business with someone who lives where you live, who talks how you talk? First South Farm Credit is there. Maybe, just spent the whole week in New Orleans. Of course, I commuted all week down. So many people have started doing that. Maybe you move to the North Shore, you come across the causeway into the city every day. You want to buy that land in Tangipahoa Parish, build 20 acres, build a house on 20 acres, and then commute into the city. First South Farm Credit has a location there in Tangipahoa Parish where they can help you buy that land. Hunting property in Mississippi or Texas, farmland, ranch, whatever it may be. Any of the lower 48, you want to buy land, you want First South Farm Credit. Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit, firstsouthland.com. Hat tip to New Orleans, which absolutely crushed the Super Bowl. As meh as the halftime show was, how about Lauren Daigle and Trombone Shorty on God Bless America? Or America the Beautiful. Even America the Beautiful was a whole vibe. Before that, we had the Human Jukebox playing Back That Ass Up. I can't even imagine a better start, build up, lead up to the Super Bowl. John Baptiste crushed the anthem. I heard, by the way, the anthem went under. Did it go under?
I'm not sure. I can't. I didn't play it.
I'm sitting there watching that, just laughing, going, congratulations to all the over bettors, by the way, because when he at the end hit the final line 3 times, I'm like, oh, this dude is just making sure this sails over the total. But then I thought someone said it was just under, which is kind of crazy. But congrats to New Orleans, man. One of the most incredible things that I saw on Twitter this today was, I want to read this for you. It was a great perspective. Here it is. It was from Albert Breer, who tweeted today on Monday, on the tarmac to leave New Orleans, and I'll say it again, no other city comes close as a Super Bowl host. From the walkability to the bars to the restaurants, whoever's second is way behind. Next Super Bowl that's not spoken for is in February 2029. Don't mess this up at NFL. That's another national media member saying, this is the place where it should be. We all know it. New Orleans is built to host amazing events. The city crushed it all week. People were great. Everything was on point. Just a really phenomenal week in New Orleans, and I hope it is back. One of the things that bit New Orleans in the bid to host more frequently, the reason it went a dozen years between hosting the Super Bowl is you had this mad dash to build new stadiums in the NFL. And effectively, it's been a given. If you build a new stadium, you get to host a Super Bowl. That's just been a rule. Hell, they brought the Super Bowl to Indianapolis and Minnesota and places the Super Bowl should never be in February. But now that all of these new stadiums have had their chance to host, you're coming back around to what feels like a more fairly open bid process. And New Orleans should be in line to host that Super Bowl in February of 2029. It should go that way. They've modernized and renovated the dome. The city showed again why it's perfect to host. Next year's in Santa Clara, and we've already begun discussions on how we can go and do what we did this year in Santa Clara. And the biggest challenge we have is, where do we stay? Santa Clara is nearer San Jose than it is San Francisco. So, like, what do you do? How do you manage that? With New Orleans, it's easy. Get you a hotel or an Airbnb in the CBD or somewhere in the warehouse district, and you're set. You can walk everywhere. So, congrats to New Orleans. Huge winner. And awesome to see the Human Jukebox as well. Absolutely crushed it in the lead up to the game. So, what a day all the way around. Okay, it's After Further Review. Monday shows are brought to you by Relief Windows. We'll knock out a quick break, come back. We'll go around the SEC. The state of Georgia trying to give the Bulldogs a leg up in recruiting. I'll explain what I mean next on AFR.
AFR.
One of the things that I'm so happy to be able to tell you about with Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness is trying to remove some of the stigma around talking about things like hormone replacement therapy, not just testosterone, but many different types of peptides like sermorelin, which can help with growth hormone. The bottom line is, as we talk about this, every single human that has ever lived, as we age, our bodies produce less of the hormones that contribute to how we feel, the things that give us energy and vitality and help us burn fat and build muscle and things like libido and all that. And as we age, our bodies produce less. Everyone, without exception. What if you could supplement safely and affordably to get to healthy levels? Well, you can. It's a simple blood test that can let you know. So log on to yourgoodwood.com and go meet with them over there at Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Again, online at yourgoodwood.com. Hormone replacement therapy and ED treatments, Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales service and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill of every...
After Further Review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and Citizens Bank and Trust want to help you cover your car payments. It's a $5,000 grand prize with a bonus chance to win free car washes from Benny's Car Wash for 6 months. We're also letting you earn extra entries by subscribing to our LouisianaSports.net daily newsletter. To sign up, visit 1045ESPN.com.
Every state, every school, every entity, everybody's trying to find strategic advantages that they can, whatever strategic advantages they can in the NIL world. And a Georgia legislator, Brandon Beach, he's a Republican state senator from the Metro Atlanta region. He has introduced a bill that would exempt college athletes from paying state income tax on their NIL earnings. I think that is significant. The state income tax level in Georgia is a flat rate of 5.39%. Now, there are states that have no income tax. For example, Alaska, Florida, Nevada. I've always said Nevada, but I feel like Nevada people say Nevada. So if they say Nevada, I feel like I should say Nevada. New Hampshire, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Washington, and Wyoming. So just in the SEC, that's Florida, Tennessee, Texas, and now Georgia would be in that mix as well. We talk about it often with pro athletes because if you're a professional athlete and you play primarily in a state that doesn't have a state income tax, like Texas, I mean, that can be worth potentially millions of dollars depending on the size of your contract. It's a significant amount of money. So, just hypothetically, if you are an athlete that does an NIL deal and you could save 5% by not having to pay state income tax, I mean, yeah, I think that's relevant. For example, let's say hypothetically there were a student athlete that's making $500,000, which that's not even an extraordinary, cut it $100,000. When you talk about the NIL budgets that a lot of these programs have, I'm just thinking in particular the University of Georgia. I'm not even talking about $1 million athlete. Just look at a $100,000 athlete, which I think would be somewhat commonplace now. $100,000, you're talking about $5,000. It's over $5,000 in state income tax you wouldn't have to pay. That's cash in your pocket. Yeah, that's an incentive. And that would just be 1 year. If you make $100,000 per year over 4 years, now you're talking about $20,000 over the course of 4 years that you're not paying to the government. So yes, I do think that's very significant. And now use a multiplier. What if you're talking about someone that's making $1 million on an NIL deal? Well, now you're talking about $50,000 a year. Over the course of 4 years, that would be $200,000. That matters. So yes, I mean, I think, listen, we could have conversations about taxes to begin with. I think they should abolish the tax code. I mean, I'm very fair. I'm as fiscally conservative a human, if you haven't figured out, as you could possibly imagine. I want people to be able to make as much money as they possibly want and get to do what they want with their money. I don't like the government taking my money and doing what they want with it, wasting it. So I don't mean to go off on a political diatribe here, but I'm very much in favor of this. I wish every state would do this, and maybe Georgia doing something like this will start to lead the way. It's certainly for competitive balance. I have no idea if it'll pass. It's just at this point, a legislator that has introduced the possible legislation, but hell yeah, man. Go do it. Can we get Representative Dixon McMakin out of District 68? I mean, he's always tweeting about, hey, Dixon, you're always tweeting about eating great in District 68. How about you go up to the legislature and introduce a bill, this NIL bill? Come on, man. I'll put you on air. I'll support you all you want on this, man. Let's get this thing passed in Louisiana as well. All right, don't let Georgia, don't let other states get a leg up on you in this stuff. All right, it's after further review. We're brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com. With locations, more than 30 locations across 13 different states. If you weigh or measure something, Michelli sells, services, rents the products you use to weigh and measure. You can always go to Michelli.com, Michelli, Michelli.com. ISO 17025 accreditation is available. Go see all the many different types of things that they weigh and measure. I love this. Like, they are on February 11th through 13th. Michelle is going to be at the World AG Expo in, what is this? Tulare, 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 California. I told you, sea to shining sea, man. From Florida through the Panhandle, Louisiana, Texas, all the way over to California, Oregon, points in between. If you weigh or measure something, they sell, service, rent the products you use to weigh and measure, and they're hiring. Check them out online at Michelli.com, Michelli.com. At Michelli, we show the world what measurement can do. All right, do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference, the Florida Gators.
Continuing to see these football support staffs bulk up. Florida hiring former Atlanta Falcons Director of Football Operations Nick Polk as its general manager. On3 broke the news. During his time with the Falcons, Polk spent 5 seasons as Director of Football Administration before being promoted to Director of Football Operations. He worked with GM Thomas Dimitroff on contracts, negotiations, salary cap management. Sound familiar? Florida dipping into the NFL ranks for a GM.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
Lamont Butler has updated his health status following his return. He missed 3 games with a shoulder injury. Well, Kentucky's starting point guard made his return Saturday, helped the Wildcats beat South Carolina. Besides coming away with the win, Butler did not suffer a setback. They play again Tuesday in a rematch against Tennessee at Rupp Arena. Butler played 23 minutes on Saturday with 8 points and 3 assists.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
State has announced its opening weekend starting rotation over at Dudy Noble Field. Left-hander Pico Cone will get the ball opening day. He's a veteran in the Mississippi State program, being his 4th year in the maroon and white. Miami transfer Carson Legion will start on Saturday, and then Stone Simmons will pitch on Sunday for Mississippi State. State opens with a 3-game series against Manhattan.
Texas A&M!
And the A&M System Board of Regents has voted to approve a Bluebell Park project. Kind of incredible. It's going to be an $80 million renovation of the park, which is set to begin in 2026. The Baseball Player Development Center is a $28 million project. That starts in fiscal 2025. It's insane. A&M opens its 2025 baseball season at home against Elon on Friday. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC. Our Monday shows all throughout the year brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com, where you always get a lifetime transferable warranty. You buy windows once, you're done forever at Relief Windows. ReliefWindows.com. All right, y'all, it is After Further Review. Good to be back in studio after a week on the road. We'll knock out our final break here of hour number 1. Come back. A couple things I want to touch on. The Pels, regrettably, are back on the floor tonight. I'll again regrettably tell you the latest ever. It was last week while we were at Media Days when the Brandon Ingram trade went down, so we didn't really have an opportunity on Media Row to talk much about it. Not that there's really much to say, but a quick thought there. And in 17 minutes after the top of the hour, we're going to have this conversation just for the sake of saying we had this conversation, because I want to be on the record. But Jay Glazer and Schefter and everybody's reporting that Aaron Rodgers will not be back with the Jets. So should the Saints kick the tires on Aaron Rodgers? Get to that in 17 minutes. It's AFR.
AFR.
Man. 80 degrees. We went from record lows to record highs in a matter of 2 weeks. No matter what, you're getting your HVAC system a workout. If it's at Home Central AC, if it's your heater, your furnace, if you got issues or think you might, you can trust our friends at River City's 1 Hour Air. They really are friends. Man, I told you, honest to goodness, true story. I took Drew to get a haircut Saturday at a place called Sharky's by our house. I walked in and there was Paul Ragusa from River City's 1 Hour Air. I was getting his little boy Levi a haircut. So you really do live and work and play where we do. They're a great local company, family-owned and operated, have been for 40 years. Go read the reviews. You'll understand why. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. Look for the big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side. 752-0001, 752-0001. For River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
There's never been a better time to catch a John Deere deal from the crew of Sunshine. Ask us about our low monthly payment options on our tractor packages and let the good times roll. With equipment strong enough to power one of the world's largest celebrations, we've got your needs covered too. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details. Offer ends March 5th, 2025.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
Man, it was going so well. Oh, it was going so well.
What? What was going well?
Did you see Street Clothes? Did you see his debut for Dallas?
No, actually I didn't.
Okay, so Street Clothes goes out there in his debut for Dallas. Now remember, Street Clothes was out for the final couple of games he was there in LA, and then he missed the first couple of games after the trade from LA. Street Clothes, of course, is Anthony Davis, a former New Orleans Hornet, Anthony Davis.
Hornet, huh?
I might as well just degrade him as much as possible.
Okay,
call him a Hornet.
Yeah.
A New Orleans Hornet. He was a New Orleans Hornet.
He was.
He was drafted by the Hornets.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Street Clothes goes out there, and, man, he's tearing it up. In about a minute and a half to go in the third quarter, Muse, 26 points, 16 boards, 7 assists, and 3 blocks in 31 minutes.
That's really good, actually.
I mean, he's 3 assists away from a triple-double in his debut.
The whole quarter left to go,
With a whole quarter left to go. And Street Clothes went down with an injury.
Oh, no.
And now Shams Charania reporting that Street Clothes expected to sit out multiple weeks because of a left adducter strain. Hey, what's the GM's name? The guy, the Dallas Nico, what's his name?
No, Mark Cuban's the owner.
No, the GM.
They're the GM.
Yeah, the guy who traded Luka.
I don't know his name.
Nico, look it up. Dallas is Nico. Oh.
Here we go.
My brain doesn't want to cooperate right now.
Nico Harrison.
Harrison.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking in my head, I'm going, it's not Nico Collins. I know
It's not Nico Collins.
I
It's
know
not
it's
Nico
him.
Iamaleava.
No, it's not him either.
No.
He's a whole different person altogether. So anyway, Nico Harrison. Like, in fairness, could he have really seen Anthony Davis getting hurt whenever he made the trade? Like, could he really have predicted something like that?
Well, I mean, yeah.
Freaking street clothes. His first game.
Death, taxes, street clothes.
Oh, man, street clothes. So, they're saying, so your adductor, by the way, is your inner thigh, right? So, your abductor is your outer thigh. Your adductor is your inner thigh. It's like your kind of your groin in there, right? That's what he's training, his adductor. Don't tell me how I remember that. Or don't ask me how I remember that.
I was curious, but I guess
I'll tell you in the break.
Okay, I was going to say,
I'll tell you in the break.
I won't
I'll
now.
tell you in the break.
But
so your guy Nico Iamaleava.
It's not him.
It's not Nico Iamaleava.
Different guy entirely.
So Nico Collins.
Not him either.
No, not him.
No. Nico Harrison.
Nico Harrison.
Yeah.
Trades 25-year-old Luka Doncic to the Lakers for street clothes and a pick, or a couple of picks, right? Because if I got it right, because Luka was lazy, couldn't stay in shape, right? That's what he said.
The crux
of it.
I mean, that's what the word on the street was.
So you trade a 25-year-old superstar who's already taken you to the NBA Finals for a perpetually injured 31-year-old Anthony Davis, who in his first game with you goes down and he's out for a month with a groin injury. Oh, street clothes.
I mean,
writes itself.
Are we sure Nico Harrison still has a job today after that? I mean, have they? Oh, no, he's still there apparently.
You know,
Google.
There's a
Oh, he's getting death threats. Yikes! Come on, people.
It's not good.
Come on now.
So Dallas is handling this really well.
Yeah,
they're taking it really well. The problem. Well, there's a lot of problems with this actually. A whole lot of problems. But I like, so professionally, if you go to J school, to journalism school, like you are taught question everything, right? Like ask questions. Like that is the job of a journalist, is to ask questions. By the way, I'm not saying I'm a journalist. I'm a radio host. I give you opinions, I entertain, I inform, but I do try to look through that prism. And when you ask questions, it is very fair. And I know nobody here cares about the Mavs or the Lakers. Well, I shouldn't say that because some of you are total bandwagon fans and you cheer for the Lakers. But like, you look at this trade, it just doesn't make sense. Am I right? Like 25-year-old Luka, who could be for your franchise for a decade, one of the best players in the NBA. And you trade him for an aging, perpetually injured star in Anthony Davis and a couple of draft picks. It just doesn't make sense. Like it just doesn't compute. Like something else is there. Like how did Mark Cuban, who's a very smart businessman, allow this to happen? Like how did Nico Iamaleava sign off on this deal?
No. Nico Harrison.
Nico Collins?
No. Nico Harrison.
Harrison.
Got
it.
Yep.
Thank you, Muse.
Mm-hmm.
So Nico
Harrison.
How did he, like, if you're going to trade, it's what everybody said, right? If you're going to trade him, you go onto the open market and you get the best deal you possibly can. You don't trade him for street clothes. Like, we're going to learn something in time. Like, something is going to come out in time that we're going to learn because nobody in that position, general manager, owner, combo therein, is that stupid. Like, nobody would make a deal like that unless there's something else. It just doesn't, it's just illogical. So something else, I don't know what it is. I have no idea. I'd be guessing. But something else is going to come of this. Conspiracy theorists, unite, do your best, come up with whatever you can. But I just think it's hilarious that street clothes goes down in literally his first game and he's out for a month. It's just so on brand.
After he's having, probably his best game of the season.
There you go, street clothes. We're brought to you by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. Locations all over South Louisiana. Boy, I burned some rubber this past week, driving to and from New Orleans every single day. If you start to notice a tread's getting a little bare there on that tire, make sure you bring it to Shaw Bills. Name brand tires at wholesale prices. We're talking Bridgestone, Firestone, Michelin, BF Goodrich, the best tires on the road at the cheapest price possible. And remember, they always treat you like family. Ask about the Shaw Bills credit card. It's basically a credit card for your car. You get VIP pricing, and you get 0% for 6 months. So you can drive away on those brand new tires today at VIP pricing and pay for it over 6 months with zero interest. It's Shaw Bills. Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service. ShawBillsTire.com. Shaw Bills. We keep you rolling. Okay, y'all. Aaron Rodgers won't return to the Jets. Should the Saints kick the tires? That's next. AFR.
AFR.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
There's never been a better time to catch a John Deere deal from the crew of Sunshine. Ask us about our low monthly payment options on our tractor packages and let the good times roll. With equipment strong enough to power one of the world's largest celebrations, we've got your needs covered too. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details. Offer ends March 5th, 2025.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Luka Doncic of the Lakers upgraded to probable for tonight's home game against the Jazz. He's likely to make his Lakers debut tonight at 10:30 Eastern on ESPN. Doncic has been out since Christmas Day with a left calf strain. The Lakers have won 5 straight. The Eagles will hold their championship parade in Philadelphia on Friday. ESPN's Chris Canty says quarterback Jalen Hurts now joins the group of elite NFL quarterbacks.
You're going to have to include Jalen Hurts in those conversations, too. And I'm done raking Jalen Hurts and saying what he is and what he ain't. I'm not giving him no more fuel because apparently he takes all of the stuff that everybody says and turns it into this. Being at his best when his best is required on the biggest stage that the game has to offer.
Chris Canty on Unsportsmanlike. 49ers owner Jed York says he's still hopeful the team can reach a new long-term contract with quarterback Brock Purdy. American skier Michaela Schifrin will not race for a second straight World Championship gold in giant slalom. Schifrin says she's dealing with PTSD after a crash in Vermont.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen. Coming up Tuesday, we'll continue to react to the Eagles' Super Bowl blowout victory. Plus, we'll discuss Luka's Lakers debut. It's on Sportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Mr. Toby Tom Play. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Former Tiger pitcher Will Hellmers, bottom of this hour. John Stinchcomb, next hour. By the way, shout out to the many of you who blew up the text line and reminded me that Mark Cuban sold his majority share of the Dallas Mavericks. Some guy named Patrick Dumont owns them now. So maybe he's just a no-talent psychopath who's good with trading a 25-year-old superstar for street clothes. Either way. If Uncle Nico signed off on it,
Uncle Nico? You mean like Uncle Rico?
Uncle Rico.
Uncle Rico.
Rico.
Different guy entirely again.
Are you sure?
Positive. Great high school football player.
Allegedly. I mean, he says so.
He could throw a ball over those mountains.
Can you prove it?
He did it. He tried. He tried to do
Tried.
it. Yeah.
Tried. Operative word muse. Tried. Can you prove it?
He did hit Napoleon in the face with that stake one time.
Can you prove he can throw the ball over the mountains?
I don't know. We'd have to find him and see if he can do it.
Can you prove?
I cannot.
Thank you. Could Aaron Rodgers throw the ball over the mountains? How about that segue, huh? Professional radio guy. Tell you what. Over the weekend, maybe the most significant news outside of the teams playing in the Super Bowl is what Jay Glazer reported on the Fox Super Bowl pregame show. If you missed it, here it was.
I do have some breaking news right now to report on the show. That's what we do. And it involves another Super Bowl MVP, and that is Aaron Rodgers. And guys, I've learned that Aaron Rodgers flew back to New Jersey this week to meet with the Jets about his future. Met with the team head coach and the GM, only to be told that they want to move on from him. Now, the thing is, what does Aaron want as player or not? What happens? Did they trade him? Did they cut him? Whatever it is, but the fact that Aaron actually used his own plane to fly there to find out what the decision probably means that Aaron still wants to play another year, just not going to be for the Jets.
Okay. Now, I know some of you will probably roll your eyes, throw your hands in the air, and say, this is stupid, but I'm going to have the conversation about if the Saints should kick the tires on Aaron Rodgers. And I'll tell you why. Because I do believe, and I am consistent with this, almost consistent to a fault, anytime that a player becomes a free agent, any general manager worth their salt insert Mickey Loomis joke here. Should ask the question, can we get that guy? I mean, let's not forget that Pat Riley got LeBron, D-Wade, and Bosh all on the same team because he was able to make it work. Like, you can't do it if you don't at least ask the question. You should at least explore it. I'm not saying this rivals that. I'm just saying on whatever scale of improbability, measure it, okay? Now, I'm not telling you that they should bring in Aaron Rodgers, but what I'm saying is you should ask the question. You should have the conversation internally about what that would look like. Now, for whatever it's worth, Rodgers is 41 years old. We know the drill. He spent the last 2 years with the Jets. His debut season lasted all of 4 plays. He ruptured his Achilles, came back this year, and he just wasn't very good. The Jets were, a 5-12 football team. Rodgers had a QBR of 48.1, 11 interceptions, 28 touchdowns. He was 25th of 32 qualified NFL passers in QBR. He was not very good. But the Jets weren't very good. And there were glimpses, there were flashes of the old Aaron Rodgers. But what is the norm? It's a fair question. I think it's also worth noting that on ESPN's NFL Countdown, Rex Ryan, remember, who interviewed for the Jets job, had this to say about Aaron Rodgers in that throughout that process of interviewing for the Jets job and what that conversation about Rodgers was like.
Well, let me just take you inside those walls because I did interview for that job, and a lot of questions came up. Very few of the questions were about this man's ability as a quarterback. Aaron Rodgers, we all know he can still spin the football, all right? But it's the other things. The commitment. Is this man committed to the organization? Is he going to be at all the mini camps? Is he going to be at all? It should never be a question. Should never be a question. Yes. And the other things, are we comfortable with him doing the Pat McAfee show or this show or that show or whatever? Basically, you're saying this because it's an organizational decision, not just the head coach. All right, but do you want Aaron Rodgers to be the face of your franchise, or do you want it to be Aaron Glenn?
It's a really interesting perspective from Rex Ryan, and clearly the Jets have made that decision. They're moving on. They're going to – I don't know what their plan at quarterback's going to be, but it's not going to be Aaron Rodgers. So when it comes to the Saints, and if the Saints should kick the tires on Aaron Rodgers, here's what I would add. There's a series of questions that I would follow, and it would go like this. Number one, if healthy, are the New Orleans Saints a contender? You got to start there. And before you roll your eyes and say no, let me remind you, so we have the exercise. Saints looked pretty good when they were 2-0 and they were healthy, didn't they? Can we agree on that? Now, I get it. You beat Carolina and Dallas, who were two awful teams, but you started 2-0 and did so emphatically. If healthy, if Eric McCoy's healthy, if Alvin Kamara is healthy, Taysom Hill, Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, if everybody's healthy, are you a contender? I don't think so. I don't think so. But they may have a different feeling, basically judging on how the Saints have operated. Number two, is 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers a better option than Derek Carr is today? I think that's also debatable. Now, Rodgers this past year threw for 3,800 yards, 28 touchdowns, and 11 picks on a bad team. But those numbers are still better than Derek Carr's. Now, I could see a scenario, and this is a strange parallel, but remember what happened with Brett Favre when he left Green Bay and went to the Jets for one season and was bad. In Brett Favre's one season with the Jets, he threw 22 touchdowns and 22 interceptions. The football world thought he was cooked. He was done. What happened? A year later, he goes to Minnesota. They go 12-4. He throws for 33 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and gets the Vikings to the NFC Championship game in New Orleans against the Saints where they lose in overtime. Came back in 2010, ran it back once more, and it didn't go so well. But the point is, when everybody thought Favre was cooked after the year in the Jets, went to Minnesota, found life. So, could it happen for Rodgers? Maybe. Next, okay, if you think, because you could cut Derek Carr, designate him as a post-June 1 release, save 30-some-odd million against the cap this year. Then you look and say, okay, well, what would it cost to bring in Aaron Rodgers? The great thing is, this sounds like the Jets are going to cut him, probably as a post-June 1 release. They'll eat a $49 million dead cap hit. Don't care about the Jets. But to get Rodgers, you wouldn't have to give an asset. He'd be a free agent. You could sign him. What would he sign for? Very likely, you'd only be interested in a one-year deal. What would that 1 year be worth? 1 year, cash, all that sort of stuff. You could even do what you always do. Low cap hit, high signing bonus, spread it out, whatever. You make it work financially. If you believe you're a contender and Rodgers makes you better than Carr, you could do it. And I love that you don't have to give up draft assets to get him. He'd be a free agent. Then the other question becomes, would Aaron Rodgers pick you? What would the market be like for Rodgers? So look around the league and who has a quarterback situation where they're looking for a starter. And that list isn't very long. And then you look at that list and you also look at, okay, what's that list look like among contending teams? And it's also not very long. Like, if you're looking around the NFL at teams that could be interested in Aaron Rodgers. Cleveland. And they're not contending for anything. Pittsburgh. Do they bring back Russ? What do they do with Justin Fields? You have that conversation, but Pittsburgh could be in the mix. Indy, although you've got Anthony Richardson, are they committing to Richardson moving forward, or do you want to bring in Rodgers? That's a question, but Indy could be. Tennessee needs a quarterback, but they're terrible. Las Vegas needs a quarterback, they're terrible. The Giants need a quarterback, they're terrible. And then you've got the Saints. And I would argue Pittsburgh would be at the top of that list, but next on that list would be the Saints. So I don't think it's a far cry that Rodgers could be interested. But for New Orleans, it would have to be a question of what does it cost, and are you a contender? See, I am very much okay with a bridge year. Like, I am convinced that this team is not a contender and won't contend. They're going to have to go backwards to go forwards. But if they're not going to do that, and you have a roster capable, listen to me, if you have a roster capable of getting you to 8 or 9 wins with Derek Carr, can we agree on that? Like, if Carr's healthy, Olave, Shaheed, Taysom Hill, everybody's healthy, right? Which you weren't this year. But if everybody's healthy, could you get to 9 and 8? You were 9 and 8 2 seasons. You won 9 games 2 seasons ago. Under Dennis Allen, you won 9 games. So yeah, you could get there. Could Aaron Rodgers get you from 9 to 10 or 9 to 11? You win a bad division, you're in the playoffs, hosting a playoff game. Like, that's a doable scenario, I think. Now, I don't think that's the best scenario. Let me be clear. I think the best scenario is you cut Derek Carr, you eat it for a year, you get your cap right, you're picking in the top 5 next year, which would be a loaded quarterback draft class. You draft your franchise, you spend in free agency, and you start to build organically again. That's what I think is best. But I don't get to make the decision. And if you have a front office that's still committed to winning now, which clearly they are, you're bringing in Kellen Moore, likely. Is Aaron Rodgers a better option at 41 years old for a year or two than Derek Carr at this point in his career? And yes, it's all the things Rex Ryan talked about. It's the McAfee show. It's the what's the thing he does? The dark retreats.
Yeah, the darkness retreat in the cave.
What's it called?
In the Oscar,
like Ashwanda or something like that.
Yeah.
Look it up.
His retreat.
The darkness. I want to know what that word is. The darkness retreats that he does. Got to deal with all that. Is he going to show up? Is he not going to show up? Mini camp, OTAs, whatever. You got to deal with all that. But is he a better option than Derek Carr? I think he is, even at 41, because he's always had a higher ceiling. I know what Derek Carr is. I know where Derek Carr's ceiling is. It's not as high as Aaron Rodgers. Now, can Rodgers ever approach that ceiling again? I don't know. What I do know about Derek Carr is his ceiling is lower. So if you want to go for it in 2025 with Kellen Moore and a healthy roster, you really want to go for it again, Aaron Rodgers is a better option than Derek Carr, as long as it's affordable and you have a long-term commitment to it. I would prefer you go in the tank, because I'll eat it. I will eat a year in the tank knowing that I'm going to be better long-term for it. I'll take 2 steps backwards to take 10 steps forwards. I just don't believe the Saints as a franchise are willing to do that. That's the difference. Do you have it?
The Darkness Retreat was just like called Sky Cave Retreats, but you're thinking of the psychedelic that he does, and I don't know how to say it either. Ayahuasca, something like that. I don't know how to say it.
Spell
either.
it. You have it there?
No, it's like AU.
4:15, and Muse is trying to pretend like he don't know how to pronounce the drug.
AYAHUASCA.
Muse can't spell it. Knows how to take it, though. Huh?
No, I don't. I do not.
Sonny Polly. Sonny Polly. Yeah.
He does.
I do not. I do not.
Ayahuasca.
That's it.
That's it.
How'd you do it? Say it again.
Ayahuasca? Is that how I say it?
I think so. That's closer than I was, I think.
Mm-hmm.
No, leave me alone.
All right, it's AFR.
After further review.
We're brought to you by Duplessis Builders. Okay, y'all, it's February 10th. If you want to be swimming when the weather gets nice, you got to call Duplessis Builders. Remember this timeline. I'm going to hit you with some urgency today. Remember the timeline. At Duplessis Builders, the reason they're able to offer you a 10-year workmanship warranty is that they don't cut corners. Like Derek always says, again, he's got an engineering background. It takes 2 weeks for concrete to cure. After the concrete phase, they're waiting 2 weeks before they move on to tiling and coping to make sure it cures properly. They're going to do it right. This is going to be a 2-month build-out. And before that, plans, permits. Then afterwards, you got to come back and do landscaping. This is a long process. If when the weather gets nice, you want to be swimming day one to maximize pool season, you got to call Duplessis Builders to start that process today. So go to duplessisbuilders.net, duplessisbuilders.net. Derek Duplessis and his staff, they're going to take great care of you. duplessisbuilders.net.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
At Atmos Energy, our Smart Choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
I don't want to do this really ever again. I'm okay, like, not talking about this anymore. But I'm going to float this out there to see what type of appetite there is for it. Because like I say often, I don't do this show for me. I do it for you. So I talk about things that you care about. But Bryce Underwood gave an interview over the weekend on the Big Ten Network. And he asked about his flip from LSU to Michigan. Again, I feel like we're ripping a scab off, and we all know the answer. And we all just want to move on with our lives. And it's great that he's at Michigan and not in the SEC. It would be dramatically different if he were at Texas or Alabama or Georgia and you had to see him. Like, in theory, you're never going to have to see him again. Maybe you run up against him in a bowl game or a playoff or something like that. And if that happens, you will see what direction it goes. But Bryce Underwood said when he was asked about why he flipped from LSU to Michigan, quote, honestly, the legacy that comes with it and also the resources and also the great education that I would have. That's one of the big factors that came with this decision that I made. He also said, quote, I talked to Tom Brady before, so that's one of the biggest, and that's the main one that I would talk to, really. Just a great experience to have with that. What Brady told him, he said, quote, honestly, how much of a great player that I am and how much potential they see in me and how much better I can be. Again, I'm okay if we never talk about this ever again, because I think while you, of course, would love to have Bryce Underwood here and behind us for a year and then leading you in 2026 and 2027, it's not going to happen. And so, and LSU, I think, is going to be fine in 2025. And then we'll see what happens at quarterback beyond, if it's Michael Van Buren or Colin Hurley or somebody else. Maybe a transfer that's on the team right now. I just think it's intellectually dishonest to say anything other than money. And I understand he's a young guy and he doesn't want to say that. And that's fine. I'm not going to pin an 18-year-old against the wall for this. And to reiterate the point now that I made at the time on November the 20th when he flipped and throughout the process since, and I'll make forever more, is that he was 100% justified in taking $12 million. Yes. Go take life-changing money and stay near home. Yes. Yes. Good for you and your family. Yes. Good for you and your family. Come on, kid. Don't piss on my head and tell me it's raining. It's okay to say they made an incredible NIL offer. I loved LSU. That was my preferred school all along. Michigan's nearby. It's a chance to stay home. But really the difference was they came and laid a giant bag at my feet. And so I took it. How's that any different than free agency in pro sports? When someone goes to when an athlete signs the biggest deal, there's no difference whatsoever. And you can say, look, I love that team. They're the one who drafted me. The fans were great, whatever. But it's understandable. Look at Trey Hendrickson. Is anybody mad today at Trey Hendrickson for leaving New Orleans and going to Cincinnati? No. He took the biggest free agent deal, which is what you're supposed to do. That's all Bryce Underwood did. But to sit here and tell me when you were committed to LSU for a year, when you didn't visit Michigan for a year and a half, None of that changed. The legacy, close to home, the academics, like none of that changed. For the year and a half you didn't visit. The one thing that changed is a billionaire dropped $12 million in your lap. It's okay to say they made me an incredible offer, and so I took it. And, oh, by the way, great school, legacy, tradition, got to talk to Tom Brady family. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay to say all those things. But I don't know. Hopefully we just never have to talk about that ever again. I mean, I'm not cheering for Bryce Underwood at all. I'm not rooting for bad things. I just don't want him to win anything of significance. Like, get your bag, go to Michigan, play some games, and go 8-4 every year, and never win anything of significance, and go be great in the league. Hopefully for the Saints. That'd be awesome. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Supper Club. They're closed today. Supper Club's closed Sunday, Monday. They'll be back open again tomorrow. SupperClubBTR.com for your reservations. I candidly didn't check today to see if they have any Thursday, Saturday reservations remaining. I know they have been booked for a long time on Valentine's Day, which is this Friday. But SupperClubBTR.com, SupperClubBTR.com is where you can go to book your reservations for Thursday or for Saturday, sandwiching Valentine's, if you're interested there. Or maybe you have an event coming up in the future. You want to celebrate an anniversary. You want to celebrate a birthday. Anything coming up. Want to take clients out that are going to be in town. You could always do it at Supper Club. An unmatched atmosphere in the menu. My goodness, the food. Listen, I'd say this often. I think there's this stigma with Supper Club where people go, oh, I can't afford that. Listen, the reality is if you want a one-of-one dining opportunity, you want to go try the Omi beef or the herb beef, right? You want to go try some of their exquisite Wagyu from these Japanese farms that have been around for 400 years. Yes, you can do that. You want to spend $5,000 on a bottle of wine. You can do that at Supper Club. They have those options for you. But if you want to go to Supper Club and have an incredible dining experience for the same price that you would at any other fine dining restaurant, you can do that as well. You got to go experience it if you haven't yet. It's Supper Club. SupperClubBTR.com. SupperClubBTR.com. All right, former Tiger pitcher Will Hellmers is coming up here in just a minute. I know a lot of people have talked about the halftime show. What I don't get is so Kendrick Lamar did halftime. I'm curious to see what the ratings are for halftime. There's sometimes where the halftime show will outrate the game. Like Michael Jackson halftime show outrated the Super Bowl back in 1993 in L.A. in Pasadena. Is this the one where he said about Drake and the A minor thing?
No. I didn't pull that one up.
Muse, I don't think you know this answer, so I'll turn to Paulie because he probably will. Paul, what's the thing with the Drake and the Kendrick Lamar thing?
I actually don't know.
That's so disappointing.
I don't follow Kendrick Lamar.
That's so. I mean, I thought about trying to get someone on the show who could explain this because everybody on Twitter who watching it saw the big thing about the Drake Kendrick Lamar and the A minor thing and whatever. Like he had the chain, all the A minor chain, but Muse, I'm guessing you don't know anything about it.
I don't.
Kid.
Sorry.
Paul was going to be my lifeline here, and I took a shot. Paul, you really let me down. So disappointed in you. I was hoping we could educate people on why this was a big deal, but I think it's the worst halftime show ever. Literally
ever.
Worst halftime show in Super Bowl history. It was. There was nothing showy about it. There was no showmanship. There was no performance element. So, there's people who have done halftime show. I don't really care about their music, but they can be entertaining. There was nothing entertaining or good about this at all. So, I think it's a big miss for the NFL. And look, dude, I like rap. I like hip-hop. It ain't that. It's just didn't get it at all. So, I think the only thing that probably happened with this halftime show was the NFL. You can kill that. Thank you. That's. Ooh. Anyway, I think the NFL was trying to appeal younger. If you look at the median age of fans of major professional sports, Major League Baseball and the NFL keep aging up. The sport that keeps aging down is the NBA. The NBA has done a remarkable job of engaging a younger audience, and that allows you longevity because eventually the 20-somethings with no money are going to be 30 and 40-somethings in their prime earning years that are going to be the primary demographic that are spending with high disposable income. So you want to be able to age down in that demographic. Baseball is struggling so mightily there. And football is getting there. So maybe this was an option or an opportunity for the NFL trying to get younger. But, boy, certainly was not mass appeal to the halftime show. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. All right, it's After Further Review. Will Hellmers talks some baseball with former Tiger pitcher next. It's AFR.
After Further Review.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. Do what injured people in our state have done for more than 30 years. Get Gordon and get it done. Of course, you can always go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com. Love also telling you about Gordon Gives. Gordon Gives is the charitable arm of Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. And, no matter where you go in town or really around the state, you're going to see Gordon's logo at darn near any charitable event in town, because Gordon often says, like, he and his family have been so blessed and the state has given him and his family so much that they love to give back. NIL has been part of that, right, for these opportunities for student athletes. But it's so much more. If you want to see about the many different things that Gordon does through Gordon Gives, all the NIL deals they do, and so much more, you can go to GordonGives.com, GordonGives.com to get all the links. GordonGives.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
There's never been a better time to catch a John Deere deal from the crew of Sunshine. Ask us about our low monthly payment options on our tractor packages and let the good times roll. With equipment strong enough to power one of the world's largest celebrations, we've got your needs covered too. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details. Offer ends March 5th, 2025.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales service and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
After Further Review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
I haven't spoken to Will Hellmers since last year after the regionals, that gutty performance that he made and what would be his final game as a Tiger. With it being game week, and a guy who still knows a lot about the guys on this team, good time to bring Will back. Appreciate the time, man. How are you?
Doing well. How about yourself, man? Thank y'all for having me.
Our pleasure. Hey, fill us in, man. What are you doing now?
Oh, man, a lot of missing baseball these days.
Yeah.
A lot of that.
Are you working? Or are you still staying in shape to play down the line somewhere?
In the lines of all those things, man, I'm doing a lot of different stuff. Around Baton Rouge, New Orleans, hunting and fishing as much as I can, and staying close to baseball.
Sure,
So,
man. Are you still getting a chance to watch this Tiger team at all?
Yeah, I've been out there a good bit. Made it out to some practices and gotten to talk to the coaches a lot about the team and watched some inter squads, and they got some serious talent this year. I'm really looking forward to seeing how they perform.
Who caught your eye?
Man, the first person that caught my eye is the first guy on the field, Cade Anderson. I mean, he just having to play with Cade last year. He looks like a totally different player. Really does. He looks like a big leaguer on the mound. And I've seen some in my time at LSU, and he has the makings of becoming somebody like that. He has got a totally different mental game, just the way he exudes confidence on the mound. And I know they haven't played anybody in a different jersey yet, but he's the first person that really struck my eye as somebody that's going to be a game changer.
What's interesting about Cade last year, Will, is he did so well in the pre-conference. Look, when he got into conference play, at times struggled to get SEC hitters out. What is the biggest adjustment there for a young guy going from high school to then facing SEC hitters? Something, honestly, Will, that a guy like William Schmidt's going to face this year as well.
Absolutely, and it happened to me. It happened. It happens to everybody. Everybody that has to make that transition it's tough. And the biggest thing, like for myself, I pitched most of those midweek games kind of very similar to Cade. Pitched a lot of midweeks, threw some on the inning, on the weekends against those non-conference teams, and then got into the SEC play and struggled. And I couldn't land a breaking pitch. And something similar with Cade is he couldn't, land that breaking pitch all the time. Had the fastball, has some good life on his fastball from the left side, but was struggling to land that breaking pitch. And watching him this year, he's got command of 4 elite left-handed pitches. And I'm excited to watch him.
It sounds like he's going to get the ball on Friday. Nothing's been announced. So do you think he's ready to be a front-of-the-rotation SEC guy right now at the start of his sophomore year?
Honestly, I don't. And that's just a realistic answer from my point of view. But as he gets into that, schedule and that rotation and, starts facing better hitters, I think he's going to get there. He's going to get there, and realistically, he's got to for this team to succeed.
Yeah.
I think.
The other guy that returning that I wanted to ask you your thoughts on was Chase Shores, which it's hard to let's be real, Will. It's hard to have a conversation about this LSU team without talking about the impact that Shores could potentially make, right? He's
absolutely.
He's freaking 6'9" and throws 100 or whatever it is. He didn't pitch for you guys last year as he was coming back off of Tommy John. I don't know if you've seen him throw yet, but what have been your early impressions of Chase here?
Yeah, so Chase, man, he's an elite guy. In fact, Paul Skeens was here for the Super Bowl the past 2 days or whatever, and we were talking about Chase and just talking with Paul about the mechanics and all the numbers and statistics, all that kind of stuff. Chase has the makings of a big leaguer, and it's in his DNA, it's in his height, and it's in his weight and velocity and all that. But he doesn't have the experience yet. He got to his freshman year, come in some games, start some Sunday games, and then had that unfortunate injury happen, and it took him down for a while. And so he's got the makings of a starter, and he can be an elite pitcher. I think along with Cade, he's going to have to take some time to get some experience, get back in there and be in that starting role. And it may just take some time, but he's got it. And he threw 5 1/3 innings on Saturday on this inter-squad series this past week. So he's up there in the pitch count, and it may just take some experience and a little time under his belt to get some SEC hitters out with a good lineup.
Will Hellmers is our guest here for a couple more minutes. Any of the newcomers, the arms, catcher for one reason or another?
Our biggest guy who caught me was, Maverick Rizzi, another big guy, throws hard. Looks like he's got good stuff. He's a great kid. That's one guy. I'm trying to think of who else. A guy like Kason Evans, can kind of run it up there in velocity, throw strikes. A big thing with this team is they have all the talent in the world, like a lot of SEC teams, but it's really a matter of coming together and becoming a team without your coaches.
Yeah,
the coaches can do so much. Talent wins game, but teamwork and intelligence wins championships.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
No. You were right on track. That's all you.
If I were to ask you today, all right, I'm giving you the lineup card. You get to pick the rotation for the opening weekend starting Friday. What's Will Hellmers filling out on the card?
Man, that's tough. I'm going to start Cade on Friday. And then it becomes between Anthony Ayenson, from UCLA on Saturday, or Chase. And then I think whoever goes Saturday, whether it's Ayenson or Shores, the other one goes Sunday. Because I think, that's your best, at this point in time, that's going to be your best rotation. So you give it a go and see what happens opening weekend.
Do you think, or does Jay, prefer how he may go, so Shores and I don't know if you said Ayenson, I don't know if it's Ayenson or Ayenson, but from UC San Diego, is to go lefty, righty, righty. Would Jay want to go righty, lefty, righty, mix it up like that, stylistically, size, anything like that with how he tries to piece it together in the rotation?
Yeah, I think there's some of that in games, and a lot of it depends on who you're facing. If you got, say it's an SEC team and you're later in the season, you have the same rotation, those, guys. If you can get two lefts opening back-to-back, on Friday, Saturday, and you're facing a lot of lefties, that's going to give you your best chance to win. So you may do something like that. Yeah. It really kind of just depends on the team you're facing and how the season's going.
Do a couple about the offense. It looks like Milam's moving to the left side, probably going to play shortstop. You think he's good there?
I do. Yeah, man, he's as quick switch as they come. He's got the arm. I've watched him play short these past few weeks, and then, even last year from second base, making some plays deep in the hole, shifted up the middle. He's got the arm. He's a freaking athlete. And, he's one of those guys who shines in the lights, I think, and he's going to be an LSU superstar, whether it's, this year or the next. It's coming for him. And he flashed that last year, some moments of clutch. And then he's a guy who shines under the lights,
If you're on the bump, who do you want as your backstop?
That's a tough one. They got so many of them. And I haven't been able to watch them too close. They've got three really good guys, two transfers. That's a tough question. I haven't gotten to watch them too close.
All right.
So that's a tough one. I can't give you the direct answer.
No, it's all good. We'll all start to get those answers coming up this weekend when the Tigers open up out at the box. Will Hellmers is with us, former Tiger. I would love to get one more thought on what you think they do or should do in right field, because it sounds like, Will, Stanfield's going to be in center. The freshman Curiel is going to be in left. So what do you do in right? Is it Jake Brown? You go the veteran like Pearson? Larson, who had such a great season a year ago, how do you justify not having a guy like that on the field? What would you do?
Right, the outfield's tough, especially for this team. They got some legit guys in Curiel, Stanfield, all the guys you just named they got some real talent, and they all want to be out there. And so I think you'll see a mix. From my point of view, I want Jake Brown out there, just from the way that he's performed through the fall with his bat. He's going to make plays. He's another guy who's got a quick twitch, going to track down balls in the outfield, get great reads. One of those guys who's going to be a leader for your team. So that's who I'm going with, right out the chute. But as you know, Coach Johnson likes to switch it up, and so he's going to do it, what he thinks is best, and put different guys out there in different situations and go with the best lineup at the end of the day.
Man, you trying to get a job?
What's that?
Are you trying to get a job?
You think I should be a coach or something, man?
I mean, you could be a coach. You could be an analyst. I mean, you want to come hang out with me during the season? I mean, you come hang out. We'll chop it up.
Come on, I'd love to.
Come on. We'll chop it up during the season.
You just tell me when.
I will absolutely take you up on that. So don't make an empty offer there, Will, because I will take you up on it.
Never would.
Are you no, but seriously, like, or try and get a job? I mean, dude, there's a lot of people listening to starting. I bet people are like, I'll hire Will Hellmers. What do you want to do? Someone will call you and say, like, I'll hire him.
Man, I love sports. And, sports has been a part of my life so for so long, and I know it well. So something in the sports world, whether it's coaching or analytics or in the front office of, some kind of team, finding my path now. So whenever you need to hang out with me and talk shop, I'm in.
I love it, man. Would you go join Jay's staff if he asked? Like as a GA or something?
Yeah, I'd consider it. Definitely.
All right. Okay. Well, I'm going to bother you, and we're gonna have you back on soon. We'll talk. We'll chop it up throughout the season, man. I'll look forward to doing that.
I look forward to it as well. Thank y'all.
All right, Will. Good catching up, man. Thank you for the time.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
All right, that's Will Hellmers, former Tiger. That was really good. I mean, not that I'm surprised. Like, we had Will on during his playing days. He was always very good on the air. But really good insight. And this happens often. Muse and I were talking about this before the show. So I wanted to reach out to Will. Like, a lot of times the guys that just got done playing are the best to talk to because they still know so many of the guys playing. Our guy Cartwright, when Alden had his injury and it ended his career, it was the middle of the season. He came and joined us on the show. And, like, he knew all those guys. He knew the team. And it was great insight each week. I appreciate Will. It was good stuff, man. We'll do that again throughout the season. Hey, we're brought to you by Evamore, EVAMOR. Drink Evamore, Evamore.com, Evamore.com. Available at great local retailers all over the country, as a matter of fact, as well. You want to find, they have a national deal with 7-Eleven. So, I mean, you're like, I had people living in Chicago who are LSU fans, transplants, go to a 7-Eleven, buy Evamore there. So no matter where you are, man, check it out at your great local retailers. If they don't have it, make sure you ask for it. Or you can buy it online, buy it in bulk, Evamore.com, EVAMOR, Evamore.com, Evamore.com. Natural artesian water. It is a Louisiana product. It is a better form of hydration. It is a healthier option. I challenge you, if you drink bottled water, get a bottle of Evamore, put it side by side with whatever crappy brand that you're drinking right now. Drink them side by side and tell me you don't taste the difference. It's Evamore. Drink Evamore. EVAMOR. Evamore.com. All right, it's after further review, y'all. LSU basketball had a super disappointing loss over the weekend. I do want to talk about Matt McMahon's future. We'll do that in 15 minutes to start hour number 3. John Stinchcomb is coming up as well. We'll wrap up hour number 2 with Tigers and the Pros next.
AFR.
New week. Great opportunity to get by and see our friends over at Clegg's Nursery, any of the 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Seaganeer Airline, LA16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. They are stocking up on new shipments of plants arriving daily. It is time to just plant something, y'all. Get in the yard. Time to plant trees, shrubs, fruit trees. This is the time. Rose bushes. You want to plant those rose bushes? This is the time to get them in the ground. And Clegg's has an awesome selection. Colorful bedding plants that love this cool weather as well. You want to brighten up your patio pots, your flower beds. Clegg's can help. And if you want that fresh from the garden flavor, you can plant some incredible edibles over there from Clegg's Nursery. They got Johnny Naylor seeds, tomatoes, vegetable plants, herbs, a backyard garden, a great project for the whole family. So check them out at Clegg's Nursery. Any of the 4 locations, buy local, shop local. Tell them Matt sent you in to Clegg's Nursery.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac. Our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
There's never been a better time to catch a John Deere deal from the crew of Sunshine. Ask us about our low monthly payment options on our tractor packages and let the good times roll. With equipment strong enough to power one of the world's largest celebrations, we've got your needs covered too. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details. Offer ends
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
You can always text the show, 225-396-4400, 396-4400. Craig said the worst halftime show, tie between Katy Perry and the Black Eyed Peas. The best, he said, was Creed. Creed never played the Super Bowl halftime show. What everyone refers to with Creed was the Thanksgiving Day halftime show in Dallas for the Cowboys. When was it, like 2001, 2002, somewhere in there when they did that? And Scott Stapp was like flying through the air when they were playing higher and all this. Anyway, I don't remember Katy Perry being bad. Do you remember Katy Perry's halftime show being bad?
I don't remember being bad. I just remember her dancer that went like rogue, dressed in the shark costume. They're just doing their own thing.
And were the Black Eyed Peas bad?
I have no recollection of their halftime show at all, so they must have not been good.
It doesn't mean they were not good. It just means they weren't memorable.
Well, I mean,
like you just said, the whole thing you remember about Katy Perry was the shark going rogue.
That's fair.
So, I mean, the best halftime show that I don't know if it could ever really be topped, honestly, is Michael Jackson. And the thing that I would challenge people to remember about that is that was in an era before you had all of the different CGI, like all the different stuff that they could build into a stage. Like, he filled up that stage, literally the stage, literal stage and figurative stage. It's why he's the greatest entertainer that's ever lived. But anyway, go back and watch Michael Jackson's halftime show from the Rose Bowl in it was either 92 or 93. And remember, like, that was more than 30 years ago. It's incredible. He's the best ever. All right, Muse, Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
All right, well, we'll just start with the Super Bowl. Congratulations to Ty Davis-Price and Andre Sam, both members of the Eagles practice squad. They now become LSU's 49th and 50th different player to claim a Super Bowl title. Congratulations to both of those guys. Ty Davis-Price, for what it's worth, this was his second straight trip to the Super Bowl. He was a member of the San Francisco 49ers a year ago, this time getting the ring and getting past the Chiefs. Pitchers and catchers report this week throughout Major League Baseball, I should say, to get spring training off and running. Baseball season is right around the corner, yet the Alex Bregman sweepstakes seems pretty dormant. Buster Olney from ESPN this morning with the latest report that it is down to 3 teams: the Chicago Cubs, the Boston Red Sox, the Detroit Tigers. For what it's worth, the Cubs and the Red Sox are the ones offering the longer-term deals. So we'll see actually what happens with the Cubs. But you would expect some movement, some traction there pretty soon with Alex Bregman. That's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Gents, if you looked at the calendar, like Friday is Valentine's Day. It's Friday. Don't screw it up. If you don't have something for her yet, don't freak out. Just go to Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, 9 locations in all, 2 in Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport. You can always check them out online. Shop online before you buy, lmfj.com. But go in there. Experience the Lee Michaels experience at Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. Thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Okay, y'all, let's knock out our final break. Sports Center's coming up. Is Matt McMahon on the hot seat? That's next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Monday shows are always brought to you by Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank, vinyl siding. Oh, yeah, they do shutters as well. And the reason that you should call Relief Windows is the reason I tell you every day. Because it's Brandon and Adrian Holly, and it's all their people, and you're going to have that experience. A window is a commodity. A lot of different companies sell windows. And you can go places where you will buy cheaper windows. That is undeniable. Like, if you're just shopping price, Relief Windows will not be the cheapest. I'm just being frank with you. If you're calling 10 places to see who's going to give you the cheapest price, that's not going to be Relief Windows. But the experience you get, where they never take a down payment. They never take $1 from you until they're done and you're thrilled. A true lifetime transferable warranty on labor, material, and glass breakage. Why would you go with anyone else? You get what you pay for. It's Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold Refreshment.
Game's back on.
Coors Light. Choose chill.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Luka Doncic will likely make his Lakers debut tonight at home against the Jazz. The game at 10:30 Eastern on ESPN. Doncic now listed as probable. He's been out almost 7 weeks with a left calf strain. Hawks guard Trae Young, who was upset he wasn't named to the All-Star game in the first place, now gets named as an injury replacement for Giannis Antetokounmpo, who's out with a left calf injury. Young is leading the NBA with 11 assists per game. After the biggest Super Bowl blowout since the Buccaneers beat the Chiefs 4 years ago, the Eagles are just getting started on their celebration. They're back in Philadelphia today, and their championship parade will be Friday. ESPN's Damian Woody.
The Philadelphia Eagles were just better all around, especially in the trenches. I mean, think about it. They didn't blitz one time last night. One time. Sacked Patrick Mahomes 6 times, had numerous other pressures. They just beat them up. And that's how you got to do a team like the Kansas City Chiefs.
Damian Woody on Unsportsmanlike. Tiger Woods says today he won't play in the Genesis Invitational later this week.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. At Progressive, they're making things even easier. They'll help you bundle your home and car insurance together so you can save on both. Learn more at progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
You should. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. Former St. John Stinchcomb here in about 15 minutes from right now. Talk Super Bowl 59. The very strong likelihood that Kellen Moore set to become the next New Orleans Saints head coach. Really could be any day. So we'll talk about that with Stinch coming up here shortly. I know a lot of you are completely disengaged on this LSU basketball season. They keep losing, and my Twitter and my text line are crickets. I know how it works around here with basketball. They win, people are engaged or excited. They lose, it's apathy. You don't really have the in-between. You don't have the anger. Saturday, when they lost to Ole Miss, was the first time all season that I felt that jolt of energy through the fan base. If you didn't watch the game, and I'm guessing you didn't, LSU led the whole way. They were up 11 with under 3 minutes to play. It was 70-59. The little ESPN win probability thing, the little squiggly line thing, it was 98% for LSU. Ole Miss finished on a 13-0 run to win the game. LSU lost on a tip-in at the buzzer, 72-70. First time all year I've felt this jolt of anger through the fan base. And a lot of people are starting to ask the question, should they fire Matt McMahon? Like, is it time to move on? And so I'm going to address that because I think it's a conversation at this point that's worth having. But let me, before I get to the Matt McMahon's future and what I think they should do part, let me at least till the soil a little bit to get there, okay? Because I don't think they should fire him. I won't bury the lead. I do not think they should fire Matt McMahon, okay? But I'll get to why. First of all, there is no excuse for the Ole Miss loss. That is heinous. And by the way, in that scoreless stretch, it's not like they were just missing shots. In that 3-minute stretch, they took one shot. It got blocked. The fact that you couldn't figure out a way to put a point on the board, to get to the line, to get an easy look out of a timeout, something is inexcusable. That's on coaching. 100% that's on Matt McMahon. There's no, and if he were sitting right here, I'm sure he'd tell you the same thing. Players take their fair share of blame, but coaches have to be able, you have got to get your team across the finish line in that game. I would also tell you, losing by 19 to a mid-Georgia team is inexcusable. Losing by 31 at home to a mid-Texas team, the worst home loss to an unranked team since 1966. These are unacceptable things, okay? So I'm not passing blame or anything like that. Unacceptable on the coach. I also know that Matt McMahon is a good basketball coach. He has a long enough track record of success as a head coach to tell you he knows what he's doing. He's a good coach who can win. Sometimes good coaches have head-scratching losses. Andy Reid's going in the Hall of Fame. His team just got crushed in the Super Bowl. Okay. Matt McMahon won 70% of his games at Murray State, 75% of his conference games. They went to the tournament 3 times. His last year at Murray State, they were 31-3, 18-0 in the league. That doesn't happen by happenstance. He's a good coach. We can agree. He's a good coach. There are inexcusable losses that you lay at his feet. I'm not going to crush him for taking a bottom of the SEC roster to Tuscaloosa and losing. I'm not going to blame him for taking a bargain basement roster and losing to number 1 Auburn or at a ranked Ole Miss team. Like, I'm not going to blame him for that. Like, you don't have the investment in basketball to compete with the best in the league. Okay. I have a big problem with losing at home by 31 to Texas. We understand the difference? So, Matt McMahon's a good coach. They've had inexcusable losses. 2 things can be true at the same time. I know there's some people who are also saying, he needs time. No. I'm not there. When he took the job, I was there. Because Matt McMahon took the LSU job before the infractions committee ruled. So Matt McMahon this is something a lot of you forget as well. He took the job without knowing if there was going to be a postseason ban or if there were going to be any type of scholarship restrictions. That's why LSU gave him a 7-year contract. Some of you just like to crush Scott Woodward for giving him that type of deal. You had to hire a coach. What do you want to do? You went to a mid-major, hired a coach for an average of 2.6, who had a lot of success there. You're betting on the come, hoping you hit on like a Nate Oates type situation. But the only way you were getting him to take your job, which is a bad job, let that sink in. LSU was a bad job when Matt McMahon took it. Within 2 weeks of being hired, the entire roster was gone. But you didn't get postseason banned, and all of your scholarships are there now. That is no longer an excuse. There is no postseason ban. You have a full complement of scholarships. The give him time thing is no longer an excuse. So I'm not there. So, if you fire him, and we had this report up at LouisianaSports.net. We did a staff report earlier today, looked at the contract, crunched the numbers. Here's what it amounts to. If you fired Matt McMahon, you'd owe him 80% of his remaining contract, which this year, after this season, would be $8.5 million. You'd have to buy out his staff as well, and then turn around and invest in a new coach. And what are you going to spend on a new coach? Bruce Pearl makes $5.5 million a year. Nate Oates, his new deal by the time it's over, is going to pay him north of $7 million. My point is, if you've got that money, If you have boosters that care that much about basketball to where they'd spend $8 million to buy out Matt McMahon and north of 3 or 4, whatever it would be a year to go hire another good coach, why not take that money and instead invest it in your roster? Because here's the truth that not many people know or talk about. LSU, this basketball roster, they've got just under $2 million in NIL in this roster. Okay? Just under $2 million in this roster. That may sound like a lot of money. Auburn, Alabama, Kentucky, Florida, Tennessee, Arkansas, they're all north of $7 million in their roster. You know why you can't compete with the top of the league? That's why. The mid, Missouri, Vanderbilt, they're in the $5-6 million range for their roster. You're spending just under $2 million on your roster. If you want to compete, I would submit, don't take whatever funds you have or are able to raise to fire your coach and hire another one. Take those funds and build a roster that is capable of competing. At least judge McMahon when he's got a roster that is capable, which you do not have right now. Again, I am not absolving him of blame for gagging away that game Saturday at the Maravich Center. That's inexcusable. Losing at home by 31 to Texas is inexcusable. What I'm also saying is, I watched this guy get Murray State to the tournament 3 times. I watched him take an average LSU team a year ago and get him to the tournament. And I watched them have a pretty good run in the pre-conference this year. But if you do have the resources invested in the roster, which I've been told they're going to do, in the same way that they invested in football this portal cycle, they're going to do for basketball next year. Okay, let me see what that looks like. And if you give him a loaded gun and he still can compete, now there's no more argument. But it's hard for me to make a full judgment on Matt McMahon when he's running out there every night with the second worst roster in the SEC. And you could say, who built that roster? He did. But you said, hey, here's an egg and a piece of bacon. Go make me an omelet. What do you think you're going to get? Give him the resources he needs and then judge him based on that. Mostly, I'm excited people actually seem to care, have some emotional heartbeat around the basketball program, because I'll tell you the most inexcusable thing, and you could roll your eyes and shrug your shoulders and say, I don't care about basketball. It's a baseball season yet. And y'all know I love baseball. I love LSU baseball. The bottom line is there are two revenue-generating sports, 2. Football, men's basketball. That's it. I don't care how many people you put in the Maravich Center for a gym meet. That sport is losing $3 million a year. It'll never make money. The math doesn't work. Kim Mulkey can win a national championship every year. They are never making money on women's college basketball, ever. It's not generating revenue, ever. Football, men's basketball. That's your opportunity. Baseball can break even. Maybe you made $50,000. You're not making anything of significance. Baseball can pay for itself, maybe with a tiny surplus. But just punting your basketball program is foolish. They've been fun before. Dale Brown went to 13 straight NCAA tournaments. That was fun. Shaq was fun. Big Baby and those dudes that went to the Final Four, that was fun. Tyrus Thomas and Jabari Smith going to Sweet 16, that was fun. Marcus Thornton winning SEC Player of the Year, winning the SEC, going to the tournament, taking on number 1 North Carolina, that was fun. You can be good, but you got to be willing to invest the resources to be good. And what I'm saying is, If you're just saying, hey, let's throw $8 million at Matt McMahon to get him out of town, to then hire a new coach, to only do this, to repeat the same cycle. Go spend the same amount for a lateral move of a mid-major coach to take the job for $3 million, give him no NIL, no roster, then you're going to do the same thing every 3 years. Decide if you want to be good in basketball or not. Decide. And if you do, take that money and put it into your roster. And then judge him based on what it's like when it's a fair fight. And if you do that next year and you give him $5 million to go build a roster and he's still last in the SEC, fire him. Okay, then he's got no leg to stand on. But go into this portal cycle after this season, build a roster capable of competing, and then see where you are. But would I fire Matt McMahon now? No. Because what is that going to get you? It's going to get you the same issue that you have right now. Until you're willing to invest in the roster, it'll never get better. So instead of taking the money to fire Matt McMahon and buying him out, take the money and go buy players. It's after further review. John Stinchcomb is next.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Watermark Hotel, the Renaissance Hotel. Watermark downtown, Baton Rouge's premier hotel property. Voted by you the best hotel and the best of 225. My gosh, beautiful hotel if you've never been. Highly recommend. Even if you're not going to stay. Going out in downtown Baton Rouge, just pop on into the Watermark. Belly up to the bar. Beautiful, just gorgeous lobby bar there at the Watermark. You can watch all the foot traffic passing by there on 3rd Street. You could dine at the Gregory inside the Watermark Hotel. Sunday brunch or a business lunch or dinner any night of the week. The Gregory is right there in the lobby of the Watermark Hotel. And remember, whenever you dine at the Gregory, it's always complimentary valet parking. So it makes going downtown even easier. Of course, if you have an event coming up, remember, the Watermark Hotel. The old bank vaults, gorgeous. They've hollowed them out into private dining spaces. So if you want to have an exquisite dining experience, you can do that at the Watermark Hotel.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
There's never been a better time to catch a John Deere deal from the crew of Sunshine. Ask us about our low monthly payment options on our tractor packages and let the good times roll. With equipment strong enough to power one of the world's largest celebrations, we've got your needs covered too. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details. Offer ends March 5th, 2025.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
Eagles, Super Bowl 59 champs. Their OC, Kellen Moore, looks like he's going to be the next head coach of the New Orleans Saints. Always appreciate it. We get a couple minutes with John Stinchcomb, who jumps aboard with us now. How are you, sir?
Doing great.
Hey, what point did you think, okay, this is over during the game on Sunday night?
Well, with any time Patrick Mahomes is out there, I don't know if you feel super confident, but once they started racking up and you're heading into half with that huge lead, and Kansas City didn't have any answers for that four-man rush from Philly. So, by the second quarter, you knew they had to do something to turn things around, and they weren't even close. So it was kind of eye-opening, I think, for everybody to see the way the game played out. But it also emphasizes the importance of the trenches in a game that has expanded as much as it has and featured these huge playmakers. If you can't protect them, if you can't protect your quarterback long enough to create opportunities, it doesn't make a whole lot of difference.
Eagles D-line was absolutely the difference. What was your impression watching Kellen Moore's offense?
Well, all year long, I've been impressed with the fact that he was creating opportunities. One, I think they have the best offensive line in football. Two, they have the best running back, if not the best, top two running back in all of National Football League. And he was able to kind of mix in opportunities that highlight what Jalen does really well without putting him in difficult situations. So that played itself out the entire playoffs and obviously in the Super Bowl yesterday. It highlights the way that you can scheme up defenses and utilize the talent that you have on offense, which, they certainly have riches across the board there.
So, that's kind of my follow-up, John. It's like, it's so impressive to score 40 in the Super Bowl and 55 in the NFC Championship game. But I look and I go, yeah, but they had, as you just said, the best offensive line in football. You had an incredible 1-2 punch at receiver, Dallas Goedert at tight end, got Saquon. So how much of the Eagles' success do we attribute to Kellen Moore? And how much is, the talent, which is just incredible?
Well, I think anytime you have as much talent as Philly does, it'll make every offensive coordinator look good. But I do think it's a factor. We've seen talented teams that are underachieving, and that certainly wasn't the case for Philly. I think Kellen did a great job of highlighting players' strengths and utilizing them to their fullest. Just because you've got a talented roster, it does not always translate into high-level performance. You see that in all-star games all the time. We've seen that locally where, you look at it on paper and you think, man, it should be better than what it is. So, yes, I think Philly's roster is arguably one of the best, if not the best, in all of the NFL. But you still have to do something with that. And Kellen Moore certainly put together a plan all season long to utilize and highlight the players that he had.
How do you feel? We're all assuming at this point, John, he's going to be the Saints coach. I can't see any snag stopping that at this point.
Sure, let's hope that's a foregone conclusion at this point, right?
Right. We've all spent 2 weeks saying it. It's got to be reality at this point. How do you think he'll do, given every roster is different, right? But we can assume some pieces will be in place. How do you think he does coming in year one with the cast that they have assembled?
Yeah, I think you have to set realistic expectations. I think anytime you're building, which is where I think the Saints are, that's going to take some time. I don't think fans want to hear you're on some 5 or 6 year plan. I don't think those exist in the NFL. If you're projecting, it's a 3-year plan, right? I don't think that you're looking further out than that, realistically. But roster-wise, the Saints aren't where the top 4, 6 teams are in the NFL. So there's work to be done. But I do think they can be competitive as they build back into that space where they are competing for Super Bowls at the end of the year.
I kind of broached this subject earlier, John. We don't know what they're going to do with Derek Carr. But Aaron Rodgers is set to be a free agent as well. If they're committed to saying, like, okay, we're still all in to win now, do you make a play for a free agent Aaron Rodgers on a 1-year? John, I'm kind of thinking of it in terms of what Minnesota did with Brett Favre after he face planted with the Jets, went to Minnesota, and you all played him in the NFC Championship game. He sort of revived himself.
Yeah, well, he was also surrounded by that year. The Vikings were, in my opinion, the best team in the NFL. So you put him with that much talent, and sure, that's a revitalizer for any career. I don't foresee that for Aaron Rodgers. I think, I don't want to say, I think it's fair to say that his best days are behind him.
Yeah. John Stinchcomb with us here for a couple more minutes, former Saint, of course, Super Bowl champion. Part of Super Bowl 59. Also, John was watching guys like Zach Bond and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson's former Saints get out there and go get rings with their new team. John, how do you make peace with this? Two guys that are such impact guys. And we know Chauncey played well in New Orleans, but Zach Bond could barely get on the field, man. And now he's, a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. Like, how do we make peace and make sense of how this all played out to where those guys got away and were so impactful elsewhere?
Yeah, I think more than anything, fans struggle with it because we project what might have been. With that said, I think Zach appreciated the opportunity for a position change and be a part of a defense that might have been a better fit for his skill set. And I think that's important, that sometimes gets lost in what a team's doing and what a player is skilled at. Those don't always mesh. And that's why we see some highly sought after free agents. They end up in different locations and you're going, wow, he just doesn't seem to be the same guy or doesn't reach that same level of production. And Zach is a great example of the mirror of that, where a player moves into a different system and it's a better fit for him. And I think anyone looks at it and you go, wow, that's frustrating for the Saints. But with that said, I think Pete Werner and Demario Davis are two of the best linebackers when healthy in the league. So there wasn't a lot of opportunity for Zach there. The ask was for him to fill a little bit of a different role with the Saints. And where the Eagles had opportunities, it fit, obviously, it fit what he can do really well, much better than his ask was in New Orleans.
Yeah, it's a tough question because do you move Demario Davis aside to put Zach Bond in? But if you ask that question today and you look at a guy in his 20s versus a guy in his mid-30s, the answer might be a little different knowing what you know now. But again, you don't know it at the time. So
yeah, that's the beauty of being able to look back with 2020, and it's certainly not the case in the moment. You look at, let's say, you're Seattle back in the day, and Jimmy Graham is putting up the numbers that he did in New Orleans. The expectation is that he could go to a new system and provide the same, and didn't. So for every guy that you see like Zach, who moves into a new situation, a new role, and thrives, I think there's plenty of examples of fits that weren't as friendly as what Zach found himself in.
Hey, John, before you go, when do you think realistically, I know you said like long-term 3-year plan, but when do you think realistically the Saints are going to be able to compete again?
Well, that's a good question.
Yeah.
They've they've got a lot of work to do, and I think there were some misses in the draft and just development of players, and so there's some recovery that needs to take place and some replacement. And anytime you have a new coach come to town, obviously he's going to want to install and instill his system. So I don't think the New Orleans was super thrilled about their situation heading into 2006, and we ended up playing for a NFC championship. So I think you can create an atmosphere in a locker room where guys don't understand where their ceiling should be, and there's synergy that they can create where they outperform what they should. So that would be my hope for New Orleans as they are in the process of building that character, that identity in the locker room, matched with the skills that it takes to win Super Bowls. Realistically, I think that's closer to 3 years than 1 or 2.
He is John Stinchcomb, Super Bowl champion, former Saint Pro Bowler. Always appreciate the chat, John. Thanks for taking a couple of minutes, man.
I appreciate you giving me the time.
Of course.
Who dat?
It's our pleasure. Who dat? Always love talking to John. He's got great perspective on things. I want to come back and follow up. Let me remind you about Parish Restoration, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Got a text this morning from a friend, as a matter of fact, asking about Parish Restoration. I'll read you the text. It said, had a significant leak in our fridge for a while. It was just discovered over the weekend, needing some assistance. Well, be it a leak in fridge or water intrusion elsewhere, Parish Restoration can help. You got water intrusion, you need that remediation. If you have mold, think you might, odor, patented non-toxic dry fog, they can get in, get out, make it happen. parishbuilt.com. Go to parishbuilt.com, hit the restoration tab. You'll see the form right there on the homepage. You could fill it out. Boom, someone will be in touch shortly. Or you can always call the office as well. The number's there at the website. One website, just go to parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com, and hit the restoration tab. For Parish Construction and Roofing, and of course, Parish Restoration, parishbuilt.com. All right, it is after further review. John said it would take 3 years. The thing that struck me when he said 2006, which he's right, that 05 season was a disaster. They were a nomad team post-Katrina. We all know, playing home games in Tiger Stadium, San Antonio, played a home game against the Giants in New York in the Meadowlands. That was terrible. You come back the next year, you go 10-6, win the division, beat the Eagles in the divisional round, go to the NFC Championship game against the Bears. I could even point to a more recent example with what just happened with Washington. They went from a 4-win team, boom, NFC Championship game. But you know what I'm about to say. The commonality with the Saints in 06 and the Commanders this year, Drew Brees, Jaden Daniels, you had the quarterback. You don't have that in New Orleans. Like, Derek Carr isn't the guy that's going to get you there. So that's why I asked the question. Like, do you kick the tires on Aaron Rodgers? You know my preference on it. Like, I am ready to cut Derek Carr, take the dead cap hit, understand it's going to be bad this year, but put yourself in position next year after you've reset your cap, got a whole bunch of draft picks, you get younger, more affordable, and very likely drafting your franchise next year. That's what I'm ready for. I just don't think the people making the decisions are ready for that. All right, it's after further review. Quick break. We'll come back. We'll run through the best commercials from the Super Bowls and final takeaways. You want to get a text, an email, a tweet in, you can always email us, Matt at 1045ESPN.com. You can text the show in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Lots of ways you can get involved in the show. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
GLO, glowresources.com, glowresources.com. At Glow Resources, they are complete employer solutions. Look, I know our demographics. I know who listens to the show. And I know a lot of you are business owners. You're business owners. your executives, your operations managers, your hiring managers. That's you. And it doesn't matter if it's skilled blue-collar labor. It doesn't matter if it's any type of office job. Globe Resources has their professional placement division. So anything from accounting services, tax, CPAs, doesn't matter, like any type of office job, C-level management. At Globe Resources, they specialize in finding the right people to fill your opening to make your business more efficient. And they're so confident in their ability to do it, they guarantee it. As a matter of fact, they have a 96% success rate. And if for whatever reason their hire doesn't work out, they'll give you a prorated refund or find you a new employee for free. GLO, glowresources.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Atmos Energy, our Smart Choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
All right, y'all rolling along here. Jimmy's taking a nap. No, seriously. He texted me in Muse about an hour ago. He's like, I'm taking a nap. And so he sent us the picks for Otter Locks. So we will do Otter Locks. We got the picks. We'll give them to you. They're up for free at louisianasports.net. Always. Otter and his band of Merry contributors had a total of 51 Super Bowl bets. 51.
Strong.
51 bets combined, right? Among game, props, all that sort of stuff. So everyone who played along, if you did well, hope you did well. The one that I that a lot of people were really bullish on, the prop bet, was Patrick Mahomes over 5.5 rushing attempts. That did not hit, obviously, the game. When the game goes that way, no one really anticipates it going the way it did. We're so one-sided. A lot of the things it just doesn't play out that way. One that got me. Did you play any props?
Well, I was about to say, so I had the Mahomes rushing attempts parlayed with Jalen Hurts anytime and Patrick Mahomes over half an interception. The only thing that did, plus 625. The only thing that didn't hit was the rushing attempts. And a couple other anytimes and things like that. Yeah.
So there were two, one that I got lucky and one I got unlucky. One was A.J. Brown's longest reception over 22.5 yards.
Oh.
Well, if you remember on the first possession, they go for it on 4th down, and he completes a 25 or 28-yarder. Hit. They throw the flag because he touches a guy in the face mask, right? Okay, so that one comes off, and
that's rough. That's a tough beat.
That's a tough beat. He did have a 20 or 21-yarder later in the game, but so that's a tough beat. But I also had over on the shortest field goal of the game, which I believe was 27.5. So I had over 27.5. And if you remember, the Eagles kicked a 24-yard field goal, but the long snapper head bobbed. So they flagged him for an illegal snap, moved him back 5 yards, 24 became 29, and so that hit. So, yeah, you give, you take, yeah. The one that I loved also was Jahan Dotson over a half a reception. So all they needed was one catch in the game. I think they knocked that out on the first or second possession. Jahan Dotson had a catch. Yeah, I think he had it with 2 in the game. But anyway, that one went well. Commercials. The USA Today ad meter is out. This is where they rate all. This is based on retention and things like that. The best Super Bowl commercials. They do this every year on their ad meter. Did you all have a preference? Favorite commercial? Don't look, Paulie. Cheat. Did you have a favorite? Favorites?
Yeah, I mean, I liked the Bud Light one with Shane Gillis and Post Malone and Peyton Manning.
Okay,
I mean,
so
that one was really good.
That one ranked 7th. The big men on the cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're a Bud Light show here. Mockler's a sponsor, so love Bud Light forever. Bud Light and Budweiser. They forever have done funny Super Bowl ads. That was a great one with Shane Gillis. I mean, Shane Gillis and Post Malone. You have major star power there, and Shane Gillis is hilarious to begin with. Paulie, do you have one?
I liked a few of them. I did like the Uber Eats with
I did too.
Matthew McConaughey.
Okay.
I love that whole campaign that they've been doing with that. So the Super Bowl commercial.
Yeah, okay. That was 8th, by the way. So 7th was Bud Light, 8th was the Uber Eats, the century of cravings, right? How football was built around food. Going back to pig skin, yeah. Okay. Any others that y'all liked?
This one I think actually came on like before. I don't even remember what it was advertising, but I just found it funny. Stitch from Lilo and Stitch was loose on the field, and they were trying to catch it with the trash can, and he just burrowed himself under the field. I don't know. I chuckled.
I think that was. I don't know that was in the game. I know which one you're talking about.
I think it was right before.
So the number one ad from USA Today's ad meter was Budweiser first delivery, where the little Clydesdale, they say he's not ready to go, and then a keg falls off the truck, and then the horse ends up just pushing the barrel to the bar. That was number one. The Clydesdales have always hit.
Yeah, they're classic.
Has there ever been a Clydesdale? Remember, like the one that was one of the highest ever was the Clydesdale and like the puppy.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You could I don't think this is going to get flagged, Paul. I don't care if you show it on the back screen. So that one was the Clydesdale pushing the Budweiser commercial.
I missed that one. I didn't see that one.
Was number one. Oh, you didn't see this?
I missed it. I missed that
man,
one,
that was early in the game. Number 2 was the Lay's commercial, where the girl makes the potato on the farmer for the Lay's potato chips.
I don't think I saw that one either, actually.
What were you doing, Muse?
I was at a party, man. The commercials were mainly spent chatting and talking, doing things like that.
So it's a little girl who lives on a farm, and she decides she's nurturing this plant. She plants a seed, she's nurturing it. Anyway, her dad's obviously a potato farmer. The truck comes to take the potatoes away, and she has one finally, and she goes and puts it on the truck. And it was Lay's potato chips. Anyway, Michelob, the Ultra Hustle with Willem Dafoe and the lady from Home Alone. Catherine, whatever. Her.
Yeah.
Where they're hustling.
Catherine O'Hara.
They're hustling everybody in pickleball.
Pickleball.
Did you not watch this?
Pickleball generational run right now. No, I missed that one too.
That was a good one. I like that one.
Muse, I don't think you watched the game.
I did watch the game, and I watched the halftime show just during the commercial
Muse,
breaks.
I don't think you did.
I did.
You know what? I think I've connected the dots here.
Oh, Lord.
The one thing you remember, kickoff was at 5:30, I'll remind you. The one thing Muse remembers is a pregame commercial with Lilo and Stitch. Remember, kickoff was at 5:30. So we're kind of playing out the time here. Maybe Muse was just a little, I don't know, let's call it not all the way present by the time the game started.
Not true. I remember the Uber Eats commercial. That was later in the game.
Stella Artois, David and Dave was number 4. Now, any of these that were in the second half, I might have been a little disconnected in the second half. Because by the time they got out of hand, I was just like, all right, I got to do Locked on LSU. I got stuff I got.
There's actual priorities.
Get me home here. The NFL commercial, somebody. NFL's flag football was number 6. Bud Light, Big Men on the Cul-de-Sac was 7. Uber Eats was 8. The Hellmans, when Sally met Hellman, was really good.
That was funny. That was a good one.
Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal. And then who's the hot?
Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah, you knew that one. And then Pfizer. I like this one as well. The knockout where they played LL Cool J. I'm going to knock you out. Mom said knock you out. And so it's a little boy who'd beaten cancer. He rings the bell, and then everyone's cheering for him. It was a little bit of a downer that it was a pharmaceutical commercial. But still, I kind of got a little teary-eyed at the end whenever they're showing his cancer, pictures in the hospital, and he's hugging his mom and stuff. That was a little emotional. Doritos was 11. Abduction, where the aliens are trying to abduct the bag of Doritos. Muse, no?
No, didn't see that one. Sorry.
My God. Paulie, I swear to God, he didn't watch the game.
Surprised I didn't see that one with the munchies,
Oh, that's a good point.
Paul.
Hey. Jeep's owner manual, Instacart. The one that I liked that was not as highly rated as I thought it maybe should be, that I laughed at, was the Reese's lava commercial. Muse, I'm not even going to ask if you saw it because I know you didn't.
I didn't.
Because Muse clearly didn't watch the game.
It's not true.
Paul, you know what I'm talking about? The lava commercial? So it's like, it's lava Reese's, and all these people are going like to this the volcano, lava coming out of a volcano, and they're trying to eat the lava. But what got me is there's like a grandma on a rascal scooter, like just beelining for the lava. Here it is. And they got to lasso her back, and her whole thing catches on fire. Like the wheels catch on fire. Like that one got me. It was really the granny on the rascal that got me. But I thought the Reese's Don't Eat the Lava was good. Anyway, by the way, if you're wondering, dead last, the lowest rated commercial on the ad meter was the Tubi commercial, the Z Suite. I know, Muse, you didn't see it.
I didn't.
Don't worry. I know you did.
I did not.
It was basically like a Gen Zer got to take over the commercial. It wasn't very good, but it was effective for Tubi. Anyway. I mean, there was 2 things ancillary to the game that I wanted to talk about. That I was like, I'm not going to prep it because I want our reactions to be organic. The halftime show and the commercials. Neither of you helped me out at all with context on the halftime show. And Muse clearly didn't watch the game.
That's not true. I watched the game.
Clearly you didn't watch the game.
I did. I didn't watch the commercials.
Clearly.
I wanted to watch the game.
I mean, Muse, we're going to come here and talk about the commercial.
Yeah, I know. And I was going to go back and rewatch some of them, and then I just ran out of time today because I was doing other things.
South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. We didn't see a Volkswagen ad. That's a bummer. I think one of the highest rated Super Bowl ads all time was the mini Darth Vader, where the kids dress up like Darth Vader, and he's like, and the dad is like using the remote start from inside to start the car. The kids use the Force. That's what it was. He was using the Force. Anyway, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online, southpointvw.com. Thinking of buying a car, put Volkswagen on your list. The great German engineering, the safety features without the cost, and manufactured right here in the good old US of A at their Chattanooga, Tennessee plant. southpointvw.com. That's South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? Okay, y'all, final break of the show. We'll do auto locks to wrap up next. It's AFR.
After further review.
Y'all check out my friends over at Action Industries. They're a proud partner of LSU Athletics, and I always want to underscore that because we should always be willing to do business with people and with companies that do business with other local businesses and teams that we support as well. Action Industries. This baseball season out at the box, of course, every mound visit is presented by Action Industries. So leave them in, take them out. Whoop, whoop. All that stuff coming up this weekend. When you listen to the LSU Sports Radio Network broadcast, you'll hear those mound visits presented by Action Industries. ActionIndinc.com. Driving to New Orleans on Friday, had a beeline it from LeBailles all the way down to New Orleans to get down to Radio Row, and it takes you right down Highway 30 till you hit I-10. So I passed right by the LA 30 office of Action Industries. Can't miss it in Geismar. So 2 locations. Of course, that one in Geismar. It's Action Industries, proud partner of LSU Athletics.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
There's never been a better time to catch a John Deere deal from the crew of Sunshine. Ask us about our low monthly payment options on our tractor packages and let the good times roll. With equipment strong enough to power one of the world's largest celebrations, we've got your needs covered too. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details. Offer ends March 5th, 2025.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou...
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
We go to break and then Paul starts talking. We're in segment. I'm like, guys, commercial, Muse doesn't remember anything. Paul doesn't say anything. We go to break. Paul's like, oh, by the way, the other 5 that I liked are blah, 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 blah.
A classic Paul, to be honest, then.
Okay, Paul, talk. Talk on air.
So I said the heartwarming one that got me was the Google, the dream job, where it's the little girl, aging. Yeah. And yeah, that's girl dad. That one got me.
Paul's a girl dad. Yeah. Little baby Opal. Opal O'Neal. O squared. O-O. Got you right here, huh?
Yeah.
Got a little teary?
Got the little knot in the throat.
Yeah, a little lump in the throat, yeah. And then, Paul, what's the other one you liked?
I don't know how to pronounce this. Is it Novartis? Novartis?
Novartis? Novartis? N-O-V-A-R-T-I-S?
It was basically a commercial for breast cancer, but the entire commercial was just boobs everywhere.
Yeah.
And I was like, where is this going? But it was a good message at the end.
Boobs. I mean, cheerleader boobs. Like, here. There's boobs everywhere. Like runway, catwalk boobs, workout boobs, old lady art boobs, breastfeeding, coconuts, changing rooms, fembots. That guy's just staring at her boobs. She's like, really? Yep. Yeah.
But the message at the end was, breast cancer awareness.
Yeah. It's like give boobs the attention they deserve.
Yeah.
So much attention, yet so ignored. 6 million women watching today's game may be diagnosed with breast cancer. So it was encouraging, like, get your mammograms? Is that what it's?
Yeah, pretty much.
Absolutely. It's great. My mom and my aunt, both breast cancer survivors. So, yeah, ladies, yourattentionplease.com. I don't know what Novartis is, but anyway, yeah, yourattentionplease.com. Oh, yeah. North Carolina +5, Baylor +9.5. Those are Otter's picks tonight. North Carolina +5, Baylor +9.5. Maybe Muse can watch some Super Bowl commercials tonight and give you an opinion on them. Y'all have a great night. RC's here tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
After further review.
Brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. Y'all ditch those contacts and glasses forever. Yeah, forever. Do what I did. Do what Paulie did. Call the Williamson Eye Center. LASIK, PRK, custom lens replacement, Evo ICL. Evo ICL is the implantable contact lens. ICL, that is a completely reversible procedure as well. Point is, no matter your age or your refractive issue, there is a solution. There is a solution whereby you can never have to mess with contacts or glasses again. Just call the Williamson Eye Center, have that consultation, take that first step, explore your options, and change your life, man. 924-2020 or online, WilliamsonEye.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
At Auctioner, We know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.